Yeah, we need him to remove the clock.
They have.
Okay, they've done it. They have. You're quite right. Thank you.
A high-caliber women's long jump in Rome saw Funmi Jimo's 6.72 jump only good enough for 5th place. In 3rd, however, Germany's Sostena Mogwanara bounded out to 6 meters 80 in round 3, a season's best for the European Indoor Championships silver medalist.
Oh, hang on a minute. No, I've...
Far her biggest jump of the season so far, with her 2nd round effort of 6 meters 89. For the Florida-based double European indoor champion, this was only 1 centimetre shy of her 2014 season's best and promises a great deal for Beijing and the rest of the season. She said afterwards, "I was very upset after Eugene just 5 days ago. It's my favourite track and I don't know what happened there. I think it might have been jet lag. Jumps of 6.50 are just not good enough." Well, Klashina confirmed as the winner then in the long jump, 6 meters 89 to Sharon Proctor's 6 meters 85. Mogwanara a good 3rd with 6.80. High caliber competition. And in the diamond race, Bartoletto on 8 points now. Klashina with the 4 from tonight and Proctor with 4 as well.
Well, in the men's shot put, well, in 3rd place, Thomas Stanek of the Czech Republic had a no-throw, as you see, in the 1st round, and this 2nd round throw of 20 meters and 64 was a season's best, performing really well over the whole series. He only had 2 valid throws, incidentally, 1938 in the 4th round. But Jordan Clark, what a series he had, 21.28 in the 2nd round, this one, a season's best for him. He came in with a season's best of 20.78, a couple of times NCAA champion in 2011 and 12. But the big smile just underlined how successful he felt he'd been. Well, Dave Stall is very difficult to beat. Twice world champion, Olympic silver medalist. Well, in Eugene, he was 2nd, but through 21.92. He said, "I'm a little bit tired here, but 21.46 in the 3rd round was good enough to win and put the pressure on the rest." He's a very big championship putter, is Dave Stall. And on this occasion, in the absence of Joe Kovacs, who's the world #1 on distance this year, he took the title quite easily. Dave Stall then 21.46, Jordan Clark 21.28, and Thomas Stanek 2nd and 3rd there with season's best. There are the rest. And Dave Stall now on 10 points, and Kovacs, who I mentioned, on 4, Clark on 2.
The very best of a very solid series for Cuba's Jaime Perez came in round 5 in the women's discus. This effort went out to 65 meters 30 for the 2010 World Junior Champion. Less than a metre shy of her season's best of 66.23 just 10 days ago in Havana. Australia's 2009 World Champion Dani Samuels, after a series of wins in Australia, is just finding her throwing form in the Northern Hemisphere. For the former World Youth and World Junior Champion, it was her opening effort that soared out to 65 meters 47. It was, of course, however, Sandra Perkovic who came out on top. For the reigning world and Olympic champion, there were 3 efforts good enough to win tonight. This 2nd round effort of 67.92, giving her victory by almost 2.5 meters. Beaten just twice last year, nobody tonight was close to her equal. And with her 70.08 from March topping the world rankings, she doesn't look under threat at this stage of the season. Total dominance from the Croatian. Well, there it is. Perkovic just shy of 68 meters ahead of Samuels and Perez. Julia Fischer of Germany down on 64 meters. And all but 2 out of the athletes over 60 metres on the night. And in the diamond race, of course, Perkovic on maximum points with 8. Samuels won 3.
Welcome to Italy and to Rome, a city with a history that spans 2,500 years. That history is captured in the numerous iconic buildings and landmarks that have attracted millions of visitors over the years. I'm told it's the third most visited city in the European Union. The Vatican Museums and the Colosseum are amongst the most visited. Well, welcome to the magnificent Olympic Stadium and to the 4th Diamond League meeting, the Golden Gala, a meeting associated with one of Italy's favourite sons, the late Pietro Manea, who held the world record for 200 metres for 17 years. It's a good meeting in prospect, and alongside me is Tim Hutchins. Your thoughts?
Well, Stuart, we know this is a quick track, conditions very good. It's been a sweltering hot day in Rome here. The sun has gone down from the stadium, but still 27 degrees centigrade. Slight breeze across the stadium, but we know it's a quick track for the sprinters. I'm looking forward in particular to the middle distance clashes. There is a wonderful matchup in the men's 800, Aman versus Amos. In the women's 1500, that's very special. Jenny Simpson, the winner in Eugene, is up against Dawit Sayum, the Ethiopian teenage sensation who tops the world rankings. And in the men's 5000, a collection of very quick East Africans who have lost to Mo Farah in recent major championships. Just how fast can they go tonight in these wonderful conditions?
Yeah, there is a lot to look forward to, and certainly in the first event, the men's 400-metre hurdles. The meeting record's 47.73 set by Felix Sanchez all those years ago, but it's a very good lineup. Kapatoshki of Italy drawn on the inside, Barr of Ireland in 2, Maggi of Estonia in 3, Tinsley USA 4, Dutch USA 5, Coulson Puerto Rico 6, Hussein of Switzerland 7, Gordon Trinidad and Tobago in 8, and then Shalyi of Russia in lane 9. Well, remember last season no one broke 48 seconds. It could happen tonight. Kapatoshki, 3 times the national champion. Season's best 51.33, a best personal best set last year at 50.05. Well, that's Thomas Barr of Ireland, 3 times their national champion. In Doha, he was 3rd, just outside his personal best set in June last year. This is Maggi, Rasmus Maggi, European Championship silver medalist last season in Zurich. Best of 49.48. He was 5th in Zurich. In Doha, I should say. Michael Tinsley. Well, Michael Tinsley, Olympic Games silver medalist, World Championship silver medalist, one of the sub-48 second men at his best in Moscow in the World Championships. He ran 47.70. Johnny Dutch, well, Dutch won in Eugene with a time of 48.20, closing in on that magic 48 seconds. And this is Javier Coulson, twice World Championship silver medalist. He won here in 2012, and incidentally, Dutch won here in 2013. Twice World Championship silver medalist, always there or thereabouts. And this is Karim Hussein of Switzerland, the European champion last season, a best of 48.47. He was 4th in Eugene at 49.24, just to give you some idea. And Yehu Gordon won the world title in 2013, so he's going to be the defending champion in Beijing this summer, the Commonwealth Games silver medalist. And outside him is a Russian, Timothy Shalyi, European junior champion in 2013. He's a sub-49 man at his best, set last year at 48.69. 10 barriers. The fastest in the world this year, Bashorn Jackson at 48.09. But as I said, we've had no one breaking 48 seconds last season. Let's see what can happen here. Kapatoshki, Barr, Maggi, Tinsley, Dutch, Coulson, Hussein, Gordon and Shalyi. The men's 400-metre hurdles. The conditions absolutely perfect. It's absolutely still in this stadium here. Not much in it as they go to the first hurdle. It's pretty even. Right on the outside, Jehu Gordon's gone off pretty quickly. One would expect that against the Russian. And so has Javier Coulson of Puerto Rico going well, being chased by Johnny Dutch. Tinsley not quite in contact yet as they approach 200 metres. But between 2 and 3, this is where it's all going to happen. Johnny Dutch is there going very, very strongly indeed. And Tinsley now has a little bit to do as they come into the final corner of this 400-metre race. And Dutch is leading into the straight. Outside him is Coulson. And Dutch and Coulson, this is very strong run from the man who won in Eugene. He looks strong, doesn't he? Here comes Mike Tinsley on the inside. But Johnny Dutch and Tinsley and Coulson in that order at the moment. Johnny Dutch is going to get it there. 48.13, and we still haven't got that sub-48 second run. But Johnny Dutch, once again, proves he's the man to beat. He won in Eugene at 48.20. He's gone a little bit quicker here. But that was a good competitive race. You can't ask for better conditions than they've got here. And Mike Tinsley closing down very, very quickly in the end, wasn't he? And that Tinsley time, 48.34. Both the season's best, actually, for the first 3, with Javier Coulson just holding on for 3rd place. Coming off that last bend, well, Really, Dutch had it all in control.
He did, yeah, but I was impressed with how fast Tinsley finished. He misjudged it, I think. The man in blue there in lane 4, Tinsley, the Olympic Games silver medalist from 2012, was closing down all the time, but a brilliant win from Dutch yet again after that victory in Eugene, and only one athlete's gone quicker than that this year.
It was a very, very strong run indeed, and Dutch, the World Junior Championship silver medalist, remember, in 2008. He won here in 2013. He's done it again here in 2015. Very strong, you're quite right. Tinsley ran an entirely different race. He left it too late. He wasn't quite in contact at 200 metres, as I said. And Javier Coulson of Puerto Rico won here in 2012. Couldn't quite match it this time in his third place, but his time of 48.65, also a season's best.
Stuart, brilliant run from Thomas Barr in fourth place, a national record for the Irishman, 48.65.
He came in with 48.90 and goes out with a record, and that's good. Dutch, though, a very, very good win indeed. Well, there's the confirmation of the result of the 400-metre hurdles. Johnny Dutch, 48.13, Mike Tinsley, 48.34, Javier Coulson, 48.65, and the Irishman with that new national record. There are the points. Johnny Dutch just a couple ahead of Bashorn Jackson, who didn't appear tonight. Still the celebration goes on for this young man. He really does deserve it. He's a 47.63 man. He set that in 2010.
Well, it's to be expected, isn't it, I suppose, Stuart? You know, when you find your best form in some 5 years, you're really enjoying your running. The men's javelin, by the way, well, that's got underway about 15 minutes ago. Here's Ihab Alderrahman of Egypt, the sensation of last year when he had a massive throw at the beginning of the summer in Shanghai. He couldn't match that. This is the first round effort for Abdelrahman, and that's big. That's not a bad opener at all. Just over 81 metres there or thereabouts. The African champion back in 2010, but it was last year that he produced his 89 metres 21 throw in Shanghai to be one of the top 3 or 4 in the world. His best this season, 83.14, and that opener from Abdelrahman, 81.09. Good start.
Well, that will be the target for the rest, most definitely. Now then, Rocco van Rooyen of South Africa, the African junior champion in 2011. He got to the final in the Commonwealth Games, hits that quite nicely. His best is 85.39, which he set this year already, so he's on a good vein of form, and I just wonder, that looks to be just around about the 80-metre mark. There's not a lot of wind. They do like a slight breeze behind them, the javelin throwers, and it's not that helpful, so they're going to have to really work for the distance tonight. 80.33, he trails in behind Abdelrahman of Egypt.
Well, this is Julius Yego. Yego, the Kenyan, the Commonwealth champion from Glasgow last year. Only 6th in Doha, although he did throw 81.98 in far from ideal conditions. But the Kenyan, there with his opening effort, chasing the 80-metre line and going well beyond it. That a fabulous throw from the big Kenyan. It's around 83 metres, and that from Julius Yego is a superb opener. That really does give them something to chase. His best in all of last year was only 84.72, and that one has come down at 83.06.
Yeah, he's certainly emerged from Africa as Yego, and it's good to see that part of the world is beginning to show good form in the throws.
Well, the women's 200 metres now, and there's the lineup: Stay, Hooper, Williams, Tarmo, Strawn, Simpson, Facey and Stewart. And I can tell you that about 20 minutes ago we were handed a piece of paper saying that world champion Shelly-Ann Fraser-Price from Jamaica tweaked her hamstring warming up. She was due to start in lane 4 and has pulled out. She will not start, therefore lane 1 is empty, and Kristina Stay of Ukraine goes in lane 2 with Hooper in 3, Bianca Williams of Great Britain in lane 4, and then everybody else in their original lane. So a slight adjustment for the athletes to accommodate. But that's we hope for Shelley-Ann Fraser-Pryce's sake that things are not too bad. She looked very good winning in Eugene last Saturday in 10.81 in the 100 after a very modest run, I have to say, in Shanghai 10 days or so previously. She was 5th in Shanghai, what, 2 or 3 weeks back now, in 11.25. But last week, wow, she quit 10.81 on a day when I think 5 or 6 women went under 11 seconds. But as the athletes adjust, the conditions pretty good for 200 metres sprinting. The world best by Alison Felix in Doha, 21.98.
Well, here we've got Strobinders of Latvia in the first round of the javelin, chasing 83.06. And this young fella has got a little bit to find, really, because he has got an 83.37 best performance, which he set this year, so he's getting into some sort of form. And he's a big ice hockey fan, I'm told. He enjoys the sport, really hits the javelin hard, he really wallops that. And that's going to be just, oh, that's not going to impact on the lead, is it? That's going to be around about 76, I would think, and that shrug and that body language tells you. It looks as though he elevated the javelin a little bit more, that 800-gram javelin, just elevated it too much. It stalls, and he's got himself around about 76, but that's not going to see any approach on the lead at all. In 7th place thus far in this competition. Second round.
Well, the athletes are stripping down and getting ready for this women's 200 metres. There is the lineup for the half-lap race for the ladies. Bianca Williams goes in lane 4. She was in 3 originally. It was Shelley-Ann Fraser-Pryce who was due to have been in lane 4, but the world champion just feeling a twinge in her hamstring, warming up and playing it safe after that fabulous win in Eugene just, what, 5 days ago. 10.81 in the 100 there in the Haywood Field Stadium. Meeting record 22.19 by Marion Jones. That was back in 1999, can you believe? So, what, in its 16th year now, that's meeting record. Alison Felix is a world best, just clicking under 22 seconds in Doha. Fabulous run from Felix, who then went on last week to beat Sandy Richards-Ross over 400 metres in Eugene. Might take some catching. In lane 9, Karen Stewart, she won here back in 2008. The Jamaican, 31 years old now, twice world champion in the sprint relay, and an Olympic silver medalist at 100 back in 2008. In lane 8, Simone Facey of Jamaica, World Junior Championship silver medalist back in 2002. She as well is 30. Sharon Simpson going in lane 7, the Olympic silver medalist back in 2008 at 100 metres. Commonwealth champion back in 2006 at this distance. So a trio of Jamaicans out there in 9, 8 and 7. In 6, Angelique Strawn of the Bahamas, double world junior champion in 2012. 3rd in Doha in a season's best. Jenna Batamo goes in lane 5, the world junior 100 metres champion back in 2008. In pretty good form. She was 4th in Eugene in 11.06 in that A race. Bianca Williams, there she is, the 21-year-old Britain, Commonwealth Games bronze medalist over this distance last year. The youngest in the race, Gloria Hooper of Italy, goes in lane 3. Only once sub-23, and that was 3 years ago. And Christina Stay of Ukraine, the European Championship silver medalist back in 2012. Poor form so far this year, nowhere near 23 seconds Stay. Lane has improved a little bit. She's gone from 1 to 2, but up against it here in a pretty strong field. Good crowd in this lovely stadium, which holds around 70,000, I think, but of course they're somewhat dwarfed by the massive seats. Good conditions for sprinting, though. Lovely warm evening still here in the Italian capital. The lineup again from the inside. Stay there goes in lane 2 for Ukraine. Gloria Hooper of Italy in 3. Bianca Williams goes for Great Britain in lane 4. Good lane draw that for Williams. Tamo in 5. Strawn in 6. Then Sharon Simpson 7. Simone Facey 8. Karen Stewart in lane 9. A very even start. Good fast start from Bianca Williams too. And also going well out in 5 is Jenna Batamo. Tarmo leading at the moment. Also a good run there on the bend from Karen Stewart. Down the straight, it's Tarmo who leads at the moment, being chased down by Karen Stewart. They're trying to come back at her. Good run from Stey over in lane 2. Hooper struggling a little bit, but that's a big, big win. And a comfortable win too from Jenna Tarmo. And the winning time 22.77. They were running into a minus 0.1 wind, so for all intents and purposes, still air here in the stadium. They weren't getting any help from the wind. And 22.77, well, it doesn't appear anywhere even in the top 20 this year, so frustratingly slowish time there from Tarmo, despite leading from gun to tape, frankly. She ran a great bend in lane 5, chasing Strawn, and held on to it, Stu, even though there were 2 or 3 of them coming back at her down the home straight.
Yes, it was a competent run, you're quite right. She had a very good bend, her transition was good. Once she got into the straight, she held her form well. And, you know, that equals her season's best, or just outside her season's best, I think, this just by 2 100ths. But look at, on the outside, Karen Stewart coming through very, very strongly. And Simon Facey as well coming through into 3rd place. So 22.77, 22.88. A season's best for Karen Stewart, incidentally. Stewart's been around a long time. I mean, twice world champion in the 4x1, 3 times world championship silver medalist in the 100, and she's always been in that relay team, and it's of Jamaica. It's a very strong squad. But Tarmo just tying a little bit in the end, but she'd done enough, and she commanded the race from start to finish, as you said.
Yeah, Tarmo there to right of picture. Her time confirmed at 22.77 is indeed just 2 100ths of a second outside her season's best. She's a 22.2 athlete at her absolute best. World Junior champion a few years back now, Tarmo. But the American there, of course, one of a massive squad of top spinners from the USA. You can be in the top 10 in the world and not make the American trio, a bit like the Jamaicans. They face a similar problem. There's the photo finish. Clear daylight between Tarmo and the rest. Well, there's a real buzz in this arena as the sky just dulls a little bit above us, but it has been a sweltering hot day with gorgeous blue skies and a slight breeze across the city.
Yeah, I was just looking at the crowd. You may think there are a few empty seats here. This stadium holds 75,000, so it is a sprinkling of crowd here. It's quite a big one, but it almost gets lost in this Olympic stadium. It really does. Well, the pole vault has been going on for a little while now. They started off at 5:41. This is the world champion coming in. He's had some really dreadful times in terms of his vaulting after he won the title in 2013. He got a bronze in the Olympic Games, but Holstepper of Germany really has had to play second fiddle to Renaud Lavillenie of France, who really has yet to vault. Lavillenie, but that is 3rd place. You've got that 5:71. It's getting into respectable territory now, but
Jenna Tarmo then the winner in 22.77 in that women's 200 metres from Karen Stewart, 22.88, a season's best for her, and Simone Facey of Jamaica in 3rd. Alison Felix on 4 points. Tarmo with 4 from tonight as well. Remember, it's 4-2-1.
Well, Renaud Lavillenie of France jumped at 6 metres and 5 in Eugene. He is the world record holder, and he chooses 5 metres and 71 as his opening height, and that's the sort of height that a man of his calibre would choose. He has had a few hiccups in the past of early failures, but he's always prevailed in the end. The Olympic champion, 3 times the European champion. He won it in 2010, 2012, and again last year in Zurich. He's the true athlete. He's taken over the mantle of the world's #1. He's dominating it just as Sergei Bubka did all those years ago. And 6 metres and 16 is his world record, set in Donetsk in February last year. And he's performed indoors and out over that height, enjoying the participation of this crowd. So, 5:71, first attempt, opening height, Renaud Lavillenie. Oh, well, he, as you can see, he clobbered that on the way down, but the height he got, means that his high point was in the wrong place, because we're going to another shot of this. He's way over the bar and just comes down on it. So he'll have to get his approach right and get his positioning over the bar right. Just wants a little bit of an adjustment. And that's his right. You can see that sock in the background on the left, just going out of your shot. It's absolutely still. There is not an iota of wind here, but that means that 571. Now have a look at this. Now that's the sort of height, and watch him come down on the bar. His high point is just in front of the bar, and he can't avoid it. He can't unwind and get rid of it. But that's 6 meter plus vaulting if he can just get it right. But it just shows how precise pole vaulting is. The approach is important, the whole approach. But now back to the track and a men's 800 meters.
Yes, indeed, and what a lineup it is. Timothy Keatum, the Olympic bronze medalist from London, goes in this one. Pierre-Ambroise Boss as well goes in lane 4, a man who had such a wonderful season last year but ended up in 8th place in the European Championships. Look out to Mohamed Aman, the reigning world indoor and outdoor champion, came back to form last week in Eugene for a win. And Amos as well, the Olympic silver medalist behind Rudisha in 2012, who's also in great form, just couldn't claw his way back to first place in Eugene. On the outside, Bram Som, the pacemaker, as ever, is tasked with going out in 50.2. Lewandowski, European champion 2010, sharing that lane with him. There's Amos in that blue vest. Quite a character, Amos. A fabulous 2014 season, during which he won in Eugene, Monaco and Zurich. He won the Commonwealth Games, he won the African Championships. This man had has had a pretty good last couple of years. The world champion, as I say, from Moscow, world indoor champion last year to go with his win from 2012. And he won here in Rome in 2013 and 2014, did Mohamed Aman of Ethiopia. Based in Eugene now, in Oregon. Kupiatski and Chariot sharing that 6th lane. Watch Chariot, he's a man with a best of 142. Then Kajot, and we're flying through these athletes. There's Kajot in 5. The Pole won the 600 metres in Ostrava, but it was very disappointing in Eugene last week. He was 8th in 146. Boss goes in 4 in that blue strip. Keatum, there we saw in 3. There's Lopez, Kevin Lopez, a very short figure is Lopez, but he's the Spanish record holder. He shares that 2nd lane with Job Kinyor, who was 5th in Eugene last weekend. Kenyan champion back in 2013. Well, are they going to be able to take advantage of still air and a beautiful warm evening here? Top left of picture, that is Bram Som, who's headed off very quickly. European champion himself back in 2006 in Gothenburg. Paced the 800 in Doha, won by Suleiman, and then the 1500 metres in Shanghai a couple of days later. And they go through 200 metres there in around 24.5 seconds. And it is like Boss who is in 2nd place in that blue strip. He loves to go out aggressively, does Boss. Pretty good form, 4th in Doha in 144. Bit disappointing in the 1000 in Ostrava last week in 219. But it looks like Som has done a very good job as they approach 400 metres.
Yeah, it's a very good job. He does it around about 50 seconds each time. Boss, you're right. Aman, who's vastly improved since his first performance, of course, in Doha, where he was well down in 147 and then came back to win in Eugene at 144. Watch out for Lewandowski. Lewandowski is a good racer and comes very, very strongly at the end if he can get in position at this time. But Amos, absolutely, and Aman well in control at the moment behind Boss.
Boss inside the last 200 metres, then Aman on his shoulder. The Frenchman has really taken it to the rest of this field. Amos in 3rd place in the blue. The rest of them struggling to go with this pace. Kinyor there in 4th place in the orange, but it's still Boss running the shortest line. He's forced Aman and Amos to take the wide line. Amos now with that sub 45 second 400 metre speed, trying to get past Aman, but Aman seems to have the strength again. It's a win once more other than Eugene. It's Aman, Amos and Kinyor coming through there, and a very late charge there from Kajot. Might have snatched 3rd place. I don't think so. I think he ended up in 4th place. The time 1:43.56. Wow, the fastest time in the world this year. And that is Mohamed Aman in his prime. He's really enjoying his racing now. There was this weird little hiccup to kick off his season in Doha, nearly 3 weeks ago now. He was in 9th place in Doha. Inexplicable. Probably his worst run in 3 or 4 years. But normal service has been resumed. He won in Eugene last week with a big smile across his face. Turned back to challenge this man Amos, and he's done exactly the same again tonight. All credit to Boss for taking it to them for 750 metres, but he couldn't hang on.
No, he couldn't, and Amos looked as though he might get past Aman at this particular point, but then Aman went away again. Kinyor coming through, and the rest very strongly indeed, and it was Kashot who got into 4th place behind Kinyor in that bright yellow vest. But the world's number 1 and 2, really, when you consider that Aman and Amos, well, Amos in particular, that personal best of 1:41.73. That was absolutely superb in the Olympic Games of 2012. But Aman, as you say, has now come good after that initial flounder, let's call it that. But there are the rest. Lewandowski coming into 6th place in the end at 1:44.25. There were so many season's bests. In fact, everybody got a season's best, and Aman got a world lead.
Well, it looks in this sort of form as though he can make a very impressive defence of his world title come Beijing. By the way, Beijing, the World Championships in the Chinese capital are 11 weeks away today. The athletics gets underway in the Bird's Nest 11 weeks today. A win from Mohamed Aman then, 1:43.56. The first 4 going under 1:44 and a great 800 here in Rome. Amos in 2nd place once again. Good run from Kinyor in 3rd.
Well,
and Aman there on 4 points after this win tonight. Suleiman on 4 points as well. Of course, his win last week in Eugene was not a Diamond League race.
Well, let's catch up with the javelin now. And Walcott, the Olympic champion, Kershawn Walcott, next up. And 79.52. Strange, really, he won that Olympic title with a throw that was way down. He's got a best of 85.77, which was his Zurich throw last year, but there are those who have thrown much further than him, but it came to the competition in the Olympic arena in London, and he prevailed, and that's just over 80 metres. And the lead 80, well, was it 83? And then we've got 1 or 2 very, very good competitors to come in form of Pitkamaki, Vesely. They have yet to throw. There it is, in 3rd place, 80.59. Now then, Mr. Vesely, what can you do? Vesely, World Championship, World Champion Javelin 2013, so he's going to defend his title, European Champion in 2012. Looking to go beyond 83 metres here. He's been inconsistent, but he looks like he hit that one well. Very, very inconsistent. Oh, and that's a big, big throw. That is a big throw. That's an 88-metre throw, and Vesely has found his form. It's breathless here. There's no wind to assist, and he really hammered that. And that 800-gram javelin has winged its way out to, well, the world lead, 88.14. It's going to be very, very close, isn't it? I think it may be, oh no, it's not quite the season's best, but still 88.14. Well, that's put the target for Pitkamaki and the rest.
Well, Tiago Braz in this men's pole vault. One failure at 5.71 for the Brazilian. He had 2 shots at 5.56 before going clear. That's better. Yes, much neater. He's a 5.83 vaulter, is Braz. He's only 21 years old, the Brazilian. One of a very impressive brace of vaulters from Brazil. But that's, well, on the way up towards his season's best of 5.75, which he cleared in Ostrava in dreadful conditions, it has to be said, 10 days ago. So that's, despite the X's, is fairly promising. More to come, surely, from the Brazilian. 5.71 the bar is at. Next hope will be 5.81, and then you're in serious territory. And here is the next man. As we've said a couple of times, it is lovely here in the Olympic Stadium in Rome, and not a breath of wind to upset these vaulters. Kudlichka for him too. Second attempt at 5.71. Had 3 pops at 5.56 before he went clear. Oh, no. No, and he's in a little bit of trouble, isn't he? That's very frustrating for the Czech. Personal best of 5.76, mind you, and he's vaulting there at 5.71, so he's getting up towards his limits, it has to be said. European Championship bronze medalist last year in Zurich. And of course, perhaps a few of these athletes on display tonight will be saying to themselves, well, don't want to be pulling up trees, don't want to be doing great things 11 weeks before the big gathering in China.
Well, this is Alicia Trost of Italy. 1.90 m being attempted here by her. And she's got a best of 1.98 set in 2013. Would desperately need this. Jumped 1.91 last year. European under-23 champion in 2013. A couple of successes, as you can see, in second place. No. So, 2 more attempts, but Blanka Vlasic is well, she's one of the greats actually in this event, twice world champion in 2007 and 2009, lost the Olympic final in 2008 on countback. Ooh, that's not at her best on this occasion, but Vlasic lost, just to go back to the Olympic Games of 2008 in Beijing, she lost to Tia Helibo of Belgium on countback, and they both cleared 2005. 2 meters and 5, I should say.
Back to Holtstepper then. A lot of them having trouble at 5.71. I can tell you that nobody has gone clear first time at this height. Oh no, Holtstepper. A couple of crosses beside his name as well. And the athletes who have failed at this height, of course, include Renaud Lavillenie. Failing his opening effort, it was his opening height. Holtstepper, well, he failed at 5.56 first time, then went clear. Now he's had a couple of pops at 5.71. And the reigning world champion, who had injury problems last year, just can't get it right at the moment. That's a height. It should be fairly modest and something they can take in their stride, many of these men. In particular, this man, a wonderful 6.05 to top the world rankings in Eugene last week, become equal second highest vaulter in history. And he had 3 not very convincing attempts, it has to be said, at a new world outdoor record of 6.16 did Renaud Lavillenie. He had his shoulder quite heavily strapped in Eugene when he vaulted 5 days ago after an accident in a small club meeting in France. He'd dived at the line in a sprint relay for his club and hit the ground very hard and badly bruised his shoulder joint. I think it was his left shoulder, but apparently put in a couple of good training sessions last week prior to Eugene and should be back to 100%. Lavillenie then, second attempt, 5.71. That's better. Not the sort of height he'd normally celebrate clearing. But for many athletes, it looks like it could be the end of their competition here tonight. I can tell you that 8 athletes have failed this height twice. Now, by how much does he go clear? Look at that. Oh, my word. That's 5.71. Well, I don't think he's held back there. That looks like a 6-meter vault without any trouble. You can't tell from that angle if the high point was above the bar or not, but the fact is his centre of gravity was boomed over that bar by a big margin. Pichardo then in this triple jump. Now, the sensation of the horizontal jump so far this year. 18.08 in Havana last week. And he makes 1770 there, something like that. Look, just rather simple. Fabulous competition in Doha, Stu, and it was the first ever competition, him against Christian Taylor, to go over 17 metres, over 18 metres rather.
Back to that in a moment. There's the lineup for the 100-metre hurdles for women, and what a lineup it is. Talley of Belarus, Nelvis of the USA, Rollins USA, Pearson Australia, Porter Great Britain, Stowers USA, Harper Nelson USA, Queen Harrison USA, and Cindy Billot of France on the outside. Well, you've got 7 of the very best in the world, and you could be seeing really an early run of the World Championship final. Tale of Belarus, the European Championship silver medalist in 2012. She won the European Under-23 title in 2011, a best of 12.70, set in Hengler just recently. She's got that outside lane. Next to her is Sharika Nelvis of the United States, 12.54 in Doha. She was second in that race, and so very much coming into form. This is Rollins. Now Rollins this is Brianna Rollins. She absolutely dominated in 2013 and ran a very, very quick 12.26. Sally Pearson, of course, pressured now, but Olympic champion, world champion in 2011. Was 4th in Doha. She's next to Tiff Porter, the European champion, British record holder, World Championship bronze medalist in 2013 in Moscow. She's got a good lane next to Pearson, and next to her is the woman of the moment, Yasmin Stowers of the United States, 12.35. She's run a personal best on each of her outings this season, and that's quite something. Harper Nelson, the Olympic champion in 2008, just missed out, couldn't quite catch Sally Pearson in London in 2012. And this Queen Harrison, she's a 400-meter hurdler as well as a 100-meter hurdler, a finalist in the World Championships, very much on form. And Cindy Billot of France, the European Championship silver medalist in Zurich last year, has the outside lane. The last 2 Olympic champions, the European champion, the reigning world champion, all in this race. Tale, Nelvis, Rollins, Pearson, Porter, Stowers, Harper Nelson, Harrison and Billot. The women's 100-meter hurdles. That was Dawn Harper Nelson, who was unhappy. It's pretty noisy right down at the start. You have to have a good reason for raising a hand like that, and I would think she would say it was a bit noisy, it interfered with her concentration. Let's hope that that's the case, and I'm hoping they'll put a green card alongside these athletes. This really is one of the events of the evening. It's absolutely fascinating to see so much championship material in one race. There she is explaining, she couldn't hear, and the judge looks as though he's happy with that, thankfully. So the former Olympic champion, the Olympic silver medalist last time, lives again. Stowers, tall. The second half of her race so far has proved to be so dynamic. Pearson's been getting away quite well, but then faltering in the final stages. But remember, Pearson's run 12.28 in Daegu in 2011, and she can run around about 11 seconds. There's that green card I promised you. So Stowers, national indoor champion, but so much more in this World Championship year. Tale, Nelvis, Rollins, Pearson, Porter, Stowers, Harper Nelson, Harrison and Billot, the women's 100-meter hurdles. Stowers got away well there. Pearson not so well away. Rollins going well, and here comes Stowers on the near side, on the far side. Nelvis going well. Stowers, look at this. Nelvis on the far side in lane 2. What about that? What about that? 12.52. But what happened to the champion? Stowers has stopped. There were several. Sally Pearson's gone down and is hurt, and she's obviously hurt her wrist. It all happened in that race, didn't it? We'll have to look at that again carefully and go through it, because Nelvis, who came through very, very strongly in the end, I must say, a very, very fine run. A personal best in 12:52, but she ran the race, and the rest, well, it all went wrong for most of them. It really did.
Quite bizarre, Stuart. I don't know what happened to Stowers. I don't know if she got clipped by Harper Nelson or Porter, but she just drew to a stop after about 7 flights. Pearson there, I hope that's not a really bad injury to her left wrist, but she's gone down very heavily. Let's have a look at her fourth from right.
Look at Stowers as well on the near side. Watch Stowers. Oh, there's Pearson going down. Nelvis is going away. Stowers comes right across and hits the hurdle. And Harper Nelson comes into second place. And Tiff Porter of Great Britain comes into third. But it was really war. That was war. Nelvis, actually the only clean athlete on the far side. She didn't hit too much at all. But let's have a look at Stowers now. One of the great, oh, she's all over the place. Too high, came down, legs collapsed, and that is right against the form book. She was so much the favourite here, but that's what happens. And when you get a world championship as well, that can happen.
Well, there was enormous pressure here. I mean, the first 4 from Doha were here. Stowers won very comfortably that night 3 weeks back in 12:35. You're right, she did get away on the left there in lane 6, superbly in that red top. Tiffany Porter, great starter too in lane 5, the European champion. But that's the crucial one. What was it? Hurdle 7. She clattered into it and landed awkwardly and lost so much momentum, and she couldn't keep going.
Yeah, she's moving so fast, Tim, that she can't get out the way of the hurdles. And when you hit the hurdle with that lead leg, you're done for. Well done, Tiff Porter. That's what you do. You keep your form, and that's it. Oh, that's a bad fall from Sally Pearson. I do hope that that's not a serious wrist injury. I really do. Oh, that was such a heavy fall. But there's the result. And Nelvis, 12:52, a personal best. Dawn Harper Nelson came through to take second in 12:59, and Tiff Porter, 12:69 in third. But that was a race in which everything happened that shouldn't have done. Nelvis, 6 points. Stowers, 4. Harper Nelson, 2. What a race.
Boy, oh boy. Well, Julius Jaego back in the javelin with an 83.06. His best so far from his opening 2 efforts. Here he goes, round 3 for Jaego, Commonwealth champion. Already has had a solid night, and that's not bad at all. That's looks beyond 84 meters. He's going in the right direction, is the Kenyan, improving. Opened with 83.06, then a solid, fairly modest second round throw, I suppose, 80 meters 69. But that one, 84.44 for Jaego. He's moved in second place. What I can tell, in fact, he's in more sort of consolidating his second place, I should say, but he's still a long way behind Vesely.
Well, Trest has got a very important jump for her personal competition here, 190. No. Nowhere near that. The Italian has gone from this high jump competition a third and final attempt at 1.90 meters. And so she's not going to approach that form that she showed in 2013, and a best of 191 last season, so she's very much near where she was last season at this point. It's early, 11 weeks to go to the World Championships, but there'll be bigger jumpers than this to come. Well, I have to say that the women's high jump has certainly not taken off in every sense of the word as the men's high jump has, and I just hope that we can get nearer 2 meters.
Over to the vault then. And Gripic, last attempt for him at 5.71. The Russian in a little bit of trouble, as are so many of them. Quite a few athletes have gone out at this height. We'll update you with that when we see Gripic vault. 3 times Russian champion. He's a best of 5.75. This is his opening competition of the season, apparently. That 5.75 coming in Berlin all of 6 years ago. So it's not too often he gets up to these sort of heights. Very experienced, though. He's performed in the European Team Championships of Russia on a couple of occasions. He's finished 2nd and 3rd for them. 3rd and final attempt for the Russian, then Gripic, 5.71. Yes! Oh, gives it a little clatter, wriggles over it. No wonder he's smiling. He knows that was a little bit of a cheeky one. Isn't it amazing how he's struggling so hard to get a 571? Actually comes down on it. To be fair, he had the height there. It's just the high point wasn't above the bar, and he so nearly brought it off on the way down. But he lives on. Next height will be 581. That could be tough. That'll be a personal best for him.
Yeah, it's certainly the Villeneuve family have lost one of the sons. Valentin has gone out, and with 3 failures at 571. And of course Renault had that first failure at 571.
Well, the next event on the track, the men's 5,000 metres, and what a race this promises to be. This stadium, of course, renowned for producing really quick times in the middle distances.
Well, Pichardo, let's just have a look back at the triple jump now. The Cuban, who really is going well, and that's a big jump, and that's close to 18 metres. Well, what about that? World Championship silver medalist in 2013. He's got an 18:08 set in Havana on the 28th of May, as we've all known now. And that was a super jump. He's such a good athlete. He's got so much spring. Well, I've got that up now at 17 metres and 96 on my screen. I'm hoping that and it's into a slight headwind of 0.4 metres per second. Well, that's Johnny Dutch earlier on, the winner of the 400-metre hurdles, and for men. And we'll look once again at the celebrations as we go to that 5,000 metres that Tim promised.
And what a lineup it is, Stuart. 20 starters. Jesus Hispana, in the twilight of his career now, 36 years old. The Spaniard who won the European Championships back in 2006, beat Mo Farah. It was about the last time Mo Farah was beaten by a European. Kejelcha, he's the young man who's on fire at the moment. And what a surprise he's turned out to be. Just 17 years old, winner in Eugene last week over 5,000 metres. Gebremeskel, of course, a very well-known Gebremeskel and so experienced, Olympic silver medalist behind Mo Farah in London. Longer Siwa, look out for him too, a man with a 12:49 personal best, the 12th fastest man in history. I can tell you that the race includes 5 of the fastest men in history, all of them faster than Mo Farah's personal best, by the way, all under 12:50. It includes the 2nd, 3rd and 5th places in the London Olympic 5,000. It includes 2nd, 3rd and 4th places behind Mo Farah in Moscow at the last World Championships when he took gold in the 5,000. So a lot of men here are lining up who have to figure out how to beat Mo Farah in Beijing come August, should he race the 5,000 there. There's Kejelcha, hardly a pick on him, isn't the purple? Left of picture. That's not Yomif Kejelcha, that's Richard Ringer, who won the European Team Championship 3,000 last year for Germany and on home soil. What a great name there, FIFA. Do you want him to win or not? Ilyas FIFA from Morocco. Gebremeskel has a very, very strong kick on him. He is strong too, 26:51, he's run for 10,000. Nawi Lalang, look out for him. Only 7th in Eugene, but he has good speed. He's a 3:33 man for 1,500 metres. Longa Siwa, the Olympic bronze medalist, is there for Kenya as well. Mukhtar Idris, bronze medalist in the World Cross Country earlier on this year, a former World Junior champion at 5,000 metres. He goes in this field. Isaiah Koech, 5th in the Olympics, the Commonwealth silver medalist from last year. He's a 12:48 performer, making his season debut here. He's the 8th fastest man in history. It is an absolutely jam-packed field. You could almost say the only man missing is one Mo Farah, but of course he is recovering from that fabulous win over 10,000 metres 6 days ago. That was on Friday last week, in a pre-distance night in Eugene. Well, 20 starters, it is a big field. There are 2 pacemakers. Ismail Kumbic is due to take them out for the first kilometre in, wait for it, 2:32. Well, that's just about world record tempo, but they are going to settle down, we understand, if he can do his job, with Jeffrey Barusai taking over and going through 2,000 in 5:07 and 3,000 in 7:44, which is about 12:52 pace. So they are looking for something well under 13 minutes here tonight, and it's well set up for it too in these conditions with pacemakers. And this is a worryingly familiar scenario from all the races we've seen so far this summer in the 3 Diamond Leagues prior to tonight and in other meetings. The athletes failing to go with the pacemakers, though as I say that, there's a little bit more of a taker there in the figure of Tanui. He slots into 3rd place, and it's good that he's just squeezed into that gap, Paul Tanui. He's a World Championship bronze medalist from Moscow, based in Japan. That means he'll be well drilled into what he needs to achieve from each race, Tanui. That's him in the orange.
I'll tell you what, Tim, this early pace that 2:32 requested for that first 1,000, which is 61, just under 61 seconds a lap. And I mean, it certainly has done the job. They're spreading out, but it looks as though they're just settling down a little bit more, and the pacemakers will become a little bit more useful. Certainly the race still to emerge, of course. Once we get through that first kilometre, we'll see exactly what the tenor of the race becomes, and whether or not a young man called Yomith Keljelcha of Ethiopia. He's only 17. Mentioned him at the start. He's got a best of 13:10. He won the race in Eugene in that 13:10:34, 54. Just wonder if he's got the ability to go with the caliber of this field. There's Kaya there, Ayelev, Lalang, all of those athletes just sitting in, and nothing much happening at the moment to Tim.
Well, the big figure of Koech in 4th place, but single file, it is quick in the first 1,000.
Well, this is Kova, the high jump, and just catching up with a high jump competition that really hasn't really got going this year. She gets good height. Sheena, she's actually a very, very good athlete. She heads the world list this year, does Chwinko. And this is Philippidis of Greece in the pole vault. We're going very quickly from one to the other, aren't we? It's World Indoor Championship champion indoors. This man, he's done very nicely indeed, and he goes clear. And Philippidis at 3rd attempt there at 5:70.71. So he goes clear at that. I like the way he's so aggressive on the approach, and that's very, very important. You've got to really charge into that plant, and that's exactly what Konstantinos Philippidis does. 5:75 is his season's best, so he's very close to that. He's got a personal best of 5:82, which was a couple of seasons ago, set in Doha, that first event of the Diamond League season. But now Kuchina, the first attempt, then at 1:94 in 2nd place at the moment. Oh, that was nice. I'm just hoping that we can get the likes of Betier of Spain, Skolina and Chicharova really operating in this high jump competition to take it into respectable territory here. Kuchina, there it is, 1:94, no failures yet. World Indoor Champion last year.
Back to this 5,000 metres, they go through 4 laps, almost exactly on schedule there, and 4:08, so they've done a really good job, these pacemakers, so far. In 3rd place there, the man who is going to finish the race, the leader in effect of those who will finish the race, is Tanui. Ali Kaya has worked very hard, the Turk there, to move up to 4th place, to bridge that gap over the last 400 metres. They went through 1 kilometre in 2:34, so a little bit outside what was planned, but they have picked it up well since then. They come down below us with 8 laps to run, and these 4, well, there's a gap of about 15 metres behind Ali Kaya, as you can see, and nobody really seems too bothered about bridging that gap, and it is a growing gap too, I have to say. Longer see where it is in 5th place.
Well, we can go and have a look and see. I mentioned Ruth Betier of Spain. Let's see what she can do. Nice clearance for her at 1:94, so she's had no failures thus far. Betier, she's 36 now, and held the national title, incidentally, from 2003 to 2014. She only lost out in 3 seasons during that period. That's another good series. That's the season's best. As I said earlier, the competition thus far has not really has not really got going. Capello then in the triple jump. Capello looking, he's well, that's around about 17 meters, isn't it, Capello, behind Pichardo's 17.96, and that's going to take a little bit of beating, I have to say. Capello, World Championship bronze medalist in 2009. So we go back to this 5,000 meters.
Well, I'll tell you what, they are tanking along. They've gone through 2,000 in 5:08.8, so they're on schedule for about 7:43 at 3,000 meters. If they were running 62s, in other words 5:10 at 2,000, they'd be on 7:45 pace for 3,000. Barusa doing a great job here. Tanui in second place, Kaya in third. Mergia is up there as well, and just behind Longasiwa, and some big names. Lawi Lalang there. Well, he's a 13-minute dead man, and he's beginning to struggle.
Well, the javelin, some field events going on all the time now. Pitkamaki has got a best this season of beyond 88.62. He's got a personal best of 91.53, but I wonder if he can repeat that sort of performance here. That's launched that very well, and that's going to be about 83.5 probably. It's very, very fine margins between really hitting that javelin well, but he is chasing Vesely's 88.14, and I have a feeling that Vesely is retired from the competition. I have a feeling he's retired after that 88.14 and allowing the rest to go. But that's third place at 82.72. He's just behind Julius Yego, incidentally, of Kenya. Now then, second placer, fourth round, Yego. 84.44 in the third round, just to update you on that. Chasing 88, he really hit that one. Absolutely hammered that. Oh, and that's a fine throw. That's way beyond 85 meters. Now, Yego, very, very good performance from him. And I tell you what, coming into the championships, he's really beginning to prove it. 86.88 is his season's best. His personal best is the same. That's this season, and I reckon that's a better one. The meeting record's 90.34, but 87.71, a national record for Kenya.
They've just gone through 3,000 in this 5,000 meters in 7:46.8. Tanui it is at the front now. Kaya in second place. Edris has made a big move over the last 400 meters up into third place. But as you can see, we've got a pack of 9 men now, and Kajelcha is there, the tallest of them all, the youngest of them all, by several years, if we're to believe his age. I mean, it is extraordinary, because you look at that fella, and he certainly doesn't look 17, but he is, we understand, and he's in supreme form. And frankly, I was looking as he came down the home straight a lap ago, and he looked like he was jogging. It was a slowish lap, about a 64, but it's Tanui from Edris, from Mergia, he's going strongly at the moment. Then Kajelcha almost looks like he's hovering there in fourth place, just biding his time. FIFA, by the way, you'll be interested to know about his progress. He's up there as well, the Moroccan, in sixth place as they go through with 4 laps to run. And it has slowed, there's no doubt about it. That's a shame.
Anna Simic in the high jump, just catching up with that event here. Another clearance for her. Simic at second attempt at 194, gets it. Very nice. Now Simic, of course, has been much higher than that in the past. She's 5 times a national champion. She's a 199 at her best. Blanka Vlasic then, world champion twice, Olympic silver medalist, just to remind you of that, back in 2008. She's had lots of injury, and she had a very bad infection after an injury that kept her out for a whole season, and she's desperately trying to come back to the sort of form that took her to her personal best of 2 meters and 8 centimeters. That was back in 2009. This is critical for her, though. Hasn't looked good so far, but got one more attempt at 194. Oh yes, oh yes. Modest little character. Have another look at that. Good lift. Third attempt, success for her. I make her down, well, there it is in 6th place. She lives again for another height, which...
.10.26 at 4,000 metres. That was by far the slowest kilometre of the race, outside 2:40 for this pack, which has gathered now, and it's 10 strong. And as they come down the home straight, it's still Tanui there, doing the leading, determined to stay out in front. Gebriwet and Gebremeskel are there. Kejelcha on the outside, Edris on the inside. Our friend FIFA, as they go through with 800 to go, just a click outside 11 minutes. How quickly will they cover this last 800 metres? Mergir's there as well. It's going to be a sprinter's race. By the way, Ilyas FIFA, the 26-year-old Moroccan, who I've never heard of before, in about 6th place there, came into this race with a personal best of 7:49, and he's gone through 3,000, for 3,000 that is, and he's gone through 3,000 tonight in about 7:47, so he's setting personal bests en route. Nobody yet, though, has really hit the floor, have they, with their foot? Nobody's really put the hammer down and gone hard for this one from a long way out, but Tanui winding it up nicely at the moment, just doing enough to stay out in front, able to respond from there. If you're boxed or towards the back of that field and somebody kicks in hard, you could be in trouble. You give them 5 or 10 yards before you can really react yourself. Longer see where it is on the inside, beside Gebriwet. Kejelcha looking so comfortable there on the outside. But they come towards the bell now in this 5,000 metres. Tanui still leading. The winner in the 5,000 metres in that distance running cathedral of Eugene last week, Kejelcha in 2nd place now. And they kick hard there. And away they go, and it's Gebriwet from Kejelcha. The pack beginning to break up straight away, and Tanui struggling to go with them. Koech is there too. Down the back straight, it's still anybody's race. Kejelcha, look how relaxed he looks. The tall, thin fella hits the front for the first time with 200 metres to run. Longer see where it is in 3rd place. Mergir is there as well too. He kicks hard. And Tanui's coming back at them. Oh my word, it's anybody's race off the final end. Kejelcha from Gebriwet. Mergir. And down the home straight is Kejelcha again. Gets the meter. A little glance over his shoulder. And Tanui coming through like a train in the orange. It's Kejelcha from Gebriwet. And Tanui grabs 2nd place, but Kejelcha takes it there. Boy, oh boy, the final lap, 54.55. And it is the quickest time in the world this year. 12:58.39. They clawed back some respectability to the actual time on the clock. Although we shouldn't get too infatuated with the times they run in these middle distance races. It's fascinating to see the different acts of each race unfold. But that is some run from young Yomif Kejelcha. My only fear for him, Stuart, is that he's 17 years old. He's having the time of his life, running incredibly well in Doha and then in Eugene and then here tonight with jet lag in his legs. He's looked supreme running 12:58. But you know, those World Championships are months away, literally.
Yeah, they are, and you have to say there's a young man who's experienced beyond his years, really. He ran that absolutely beautifully. He looked relaxed all the way through, and if he can look that relaxed at 12:58, then, well, the rest of the world have got to fear him, including Mo. And Tanui had, what a strange race he ran. He let them go. He was in the lead for a long way, then let them go by, and then tried to attack again, as you saw, and snatched 2nd place, which was 12:58.69, which is a personal best for him.
He did look superb in 10,000 in Eugene last week, though. I'm not sure I mentioned that. He finished in 2nd place behind Mo Farah last week, just got out sprinted by the Olympic and world champion Tanui. And that is some run, frankly, with that 25 laps and jet lag coming back from Eugene. You know, it's 8 hours time difference, 9 hours time difference to here to get over and look that good.
Well, the shot putters earlier were complaining that Dave Stall was complaining that he was tired after the long journey from the States, but I have to say that it's more effective in this event than in the shot, I would think. But a young man who has now emerged at the beginning of this season and really has beaten a whole field of more experienced athletes, and well, we'll have to see whether that form carries through and whether that form will carry him through to anything on the rostrum in the World Championships in 11 weeks' time. It's a long way to go, as you said.
Well, the good news story is that Paul Tanui, who did so much of the work in the latter stages, as he did last week in Eugene, to be fair, broke 13 minutes for the first time. Only beaten by 0.3 of a second. There's Kejelcha, 12:58.39. And Tanui easing up in the line, stopping his watch, bless him. 12:58.69, exactly the same time as Gebriwet, who almost outdipped him. I mean, he was so determined to stop his watch that he almost lost second place, Tanui. Confirmation, though, that the first 5 went under 13 minutes in Rome tonight in the 5,000 metres. Another big win for Yomis Kejelcha, the Ethiopian beating Tanui and Gebriwet into second and third. And in the diamond race, Gebriwet on 5 points now, Kejelcha with 4 from that win tonight.
Well, Blanka Vlasic in the high jump once again. She cleared 194 on her third attempt. Oh yes, 197, and that is a first-time clearance. She is back now. That was a much better attempt. Having cleared that 194, got that out of her system, and now, of course, is starting to approach respectability in 2 meters. That's better. A champion of the past is coming back to form in this World Championship year.
Well, Tiago Braz then. Second time clearance at 5.71. Now the Brazilian finds himself in a bit of trouble. Real trouble this time. 5.81. Third and final attempt. Good speed. Oh, that's nice. Perfectly clear there, Tiago Braz. And that's just 2 centimetres shy of his lifetime best. It's a big season's best. Cleared 5.75 in Ostrava. But that third time clearance, excuse me, at 5.81 can tell you that Renaud Lavillenie is passing at this height. Means that he is in the lead at the moment, the only athlete clear at this height. Gripic and Filipidis both struggling at this height as well.
Well, next back to the track for the women's 400 metres. Should be a good one, this. There's the lineup. Guay of France drawn in 1. Day of Jamaica 2. Greno, Italy 3. McCrory of the United States 4. Anne McPherson of Jamaica in 5. Novlin Williams-Mills, Jamaica 6. Natasha Hastings, USA 7. Oya Zemlak of the Ukraine in 8, and Kabanga Mpopo of Zambia in lane 9. Well, right on the inside is Kue, the European champion, 4x4, representing France, of course. And that very tight inside lane, she's got all the very best outside her here. She's got a personal best of 51.30, and she'll need a little bit more than that, I would think. Day, Christine Day, the Olympic Games bronze medalist in the 4x4 in 2012 in London. She was the champion, of course, in Glasgow in that Jamaican quartet. Greno of Italy, drawn in the third lane, the European champion and 6 times national champion at 200 metres and 400 metres overall. McCrory, well, began last season with a gold in the World Indoor Championships, and of course has developed since then. 49.48 a personal best, 51.3 so far. She won in Doha. McPherson, she's going well at the moment as a one-lap athlete, twice Commonwealth Games champion, 400 and 400 metres. Williams-Mills always goes out quickly, perhaps not as her very, very best right now, but in the past she really has. She's bronze in the World Championships in 2007 and of course 5th in the Olympics 2012. Natasha Hastings, World Championship silver medalist in the 4x4, a member of that US team, of course. Zemlyak of the Ukraine, twice the European Championship silver medalist, has got a best of 51 flat, and that was set in 2014. Mpopo right on the outside, less experienced, although she's got a best of 50.87, set that in Marrakesh last year. That was the Continental Cup, and a 51.88 to her credit thus far. So Guy, Day, Greno, McCrory, McPherson, Williams-Mills, Hastings, Zemlak and Mpopo, the women's 400 metres. Just looking at Hastings going off very, very quickly indeed, already up on Zemlak of the Ukraine as they go into the back straight. Also going well is McPherson of Jamaica. Still a fair bit to do for McCrory. She's running a much more evenly paced race, and inside her, Libiana Greno of Italy as they go through 200 metres now. It's pretty well even. Right on the outside, Mapopo going well, but surely she'll be run down. And here comes McCrory of the United States as they come off to 300 metres. And outside her is Natasha Hastings. McCrory is leading as they come into the straight. And between 2 and 3, she really has made some headway here. And McPherson in second place. McCrory, McPherson and Hastings, these three. McCrory leading at the moment. And can she hold on? Can she hold on, and will McPherson get there? McCrory wins. McPherson in second place, Hastings in third, 50.37. Went pretty well to the form book, that. Another Olympic champion in the relay, a world indoor champion. And she won in Doha. She's won against here. Can't quite get below that 50-second mark at the moment.
Well, that was really impressive, Stuart, wasn't it? She visibly surged coming into that second bend and just tore into the lead that the others had built up. Brilliant run from McCrory, who of course so notably won in Doha, beating Sandy Richards-Ross. And she's taken this one tonight pretty comfortably, even though at this stage, 50 to go, I thought McPherson might catch her. She was coming back strongly.
Yeah, she was, and but there McCrory had done just enough. Even pace 400 metres.
She's flailing arms, isn't she? She's not a tidy-looking runner as Francine McCrory, but that was a beautifully judged race. She's running really intelligent races at the moment, and is got a sort of level of superiority, Stuart, that she can actually make the races almost tactical if you can do that over one lap.
Well, you can. I mean, 400 metres are run in many different ways, and she's got a pretty well more even-paced approach to it than some. Certainly Hastings went off very, very quickly early on in that first 200 metres. She paid the penalty in the end. She did get into the third place, but nevertheless, McCrory ran it perfectly, had it totally in control. She wasn't leading, but it all happened between 200 metres and 300 metres, and a transition off the bend into the home straight at after 300 metres was good. McCrory then 50.36, McPherson 50.53 and Hastings 50.67. There were 4 seasons bests in that race, as one would expect at this early in the season. But there it is, McCrory 8, McPherson 3, Richards-Ross 2. They're the points in the Diamond League race over the season.
Keshawn Walcott then in this men's javelin competition in 4th place at the moment. What can Walcott do here, the Olympic champion, of course? Oh, that's big. That's around 87 metres. Now, I don't think it's going to threaten the 88 that we saw from Vesely in round 2. But Walcott, boy oh boy.
Yeah, well, Jago was watching that as well, because he's got an 87 plus. And remember, Walcott is the Olympic champion after all. You've got to be pretty good to do that.
He had a real hiccup, Stuart, in Doha. I don't know why. He was finishing 8th place there with 80 metres, but that 86 metres 20, a national record for the Trinidad and Tobago man. Further than he threw in the Olympic Games, further than he threw last year for silver in the Commonwealth Games in Glasgow.
So in the high jump, approaching the reasonable heights, and 197. Lewinko, I should say, of Poland. She came in here with an indoor performance of 2 metres and 2, incidentally, and really is going quite well. Her outdoor best is 199, so very much on form at the moment. That 197 was her 2nd attempt at that height, as you can see, but she's still in that competition.
Back to this pole vault, and Tiago Braz hanging in there. You can see it's not a particularly tidy car, but it's good enough. 5 metres 86 the bar is now at for the Brazilian. 3rd time clearance at 581. Oh my word, goodness me, that's a new lifetime best for Braz. Fabulous stuff. And just checking, that I think is an area record, a South American record. 5 metres 83 it was. It's now 5 metres 86, first time too. And Renaud Lavillenie, who passed at the previous height, well, he's got to go, but he's got to clear it first time. We'll have to move up to the next height.
Women's 1500 metres coming up next. And this should be a good one too, Tim.
It should. Big field, Stuart. 17 starters. A couple more than I like to see in these sort of races, but it is such a strong field. 4 athletes in the field have broken 4 minutes. Several others have run within a couple of seconds of 4 minutes. It includes notably Jenny Simpson, who had a wonderful win 5 days ago in Eugene. It includes Seoum, the sensation, the young sensation of this season in the middle distances, who tops the world rankings. Dawit Seoum with that win in Doha. It also includes Sifan Hassan, the European champion, Mishenko from Ukraine, who's already run 4:01 this year. She topped the world rankings for a while. It will be pretty quick, this, if the pacemakers do their job and the athletes go with them. We're looking for a 4-minute pace from the off. So we're looking for 64s for the first 3 laps. 3:12 at 1200 is what's been requested. There is Seoum, world number 1 with that win in Doha. Beat Hassan there, by the way, in that world best. 2 times African junior champion. Laura Muir, she's in great form too. Watch the Briton. She's in absolutely superb form, is Laura Muir. 8:38, the fastest 3,000 by Britain for 12 years in Hengelo the Sunday before last. And this is a better distance. So watch the 22-year-old. Talking to Andy Young, her coach, earlier. He said she's very, very nervous, but she is a little bit more determined this year. Sichoka there, also in this field, a very experienced pole. But it is a strong field. And Jenny Simpson loves control these races and runs with such authority these days. Will she do the same tonight? Well, it must have been a toe on the line, I think. Yeah. Verdestrup and Wafula are the 2 pacemakers. And tasked with going out at 64 tempo, 2:08 at 800. Let's hope they go with it. So the women's 1500 then. The meeting record is 3:56 by Sweden's Zaragawi, the former Ethiopian. That was 3 years ago. That might be beyond them tonight, but of course Jenny Simpson, after so many years knocking on the door, going under 4 minutes for the first time last year. And she's going for it, Simpson too. Slots into what? 4th place at the moment. Laura Muir too. Very hungry for a strong run here tonight. She's just got to gauge her effort well. She slots into 3rd behind Verdestrup and Wafula. Then it's Muir and Simpson. Just looking for the European champion Hassan at the moment. And she's right towards the back, Hassan. Goodness me, she's won from the back. She's gone very, very cautiously. They go through 300 in about 47 seconds, 46.5 seconds. So it is a little on the quick side. If they maintain this, the pacemaker will go through in about 62.5, 63. Muir, though, is going with it. She's strong, she knows that. Might not have the kick that some of these other ladies can throw at it.
Well, certainly the Hassan is in very good form. She broke Ellen van Langen's 1,000-meter record in Hengelo just recently. Showed terrific speed there, so she's obviously been doing a little bit of speed work to come into this 1,500 meters. Seoum is tucked in right in the middle there, as you say, but Hassan, I would think she'll start to make some headway shortly, because if not, she's going to get run out of this.
Well, Hassan has indeed. On that last 300 metres, she's moved right up to 6th place. She saw the danger, so we've got the 2 pacemakers, Verdestrup and Wafula. Then Laura Muir with a little bit of a gap, surprisingly, back to Jenny Simpson. Let's hope Muir's judging this right. In 5th place is the world number 1, Dawit Seoum. Last year she ran 3:59 at the age of 17. That wouldn't be too bad for a fella. 2 laps to run as they go through. And Hassan has moved up into 6th place now. The rest of the pack, well, pretty stretched at this tempo, I have to say. Let's see what this second lap is. The first lap, by the way, 63.04 for the pacemakers. Muir, though, determined to hang on to those pacemakers. They go through 800 there, a 66.04, 2:09.08.
Well, certainly in Hengelo, Laura Muir was very, very impressive indeed. And look at Simpson coming through now to take closer order and to assist to determine the tempo of this 1,500 metres. She's now in 2nd place as you look at the athletes as they line up, just ahead of Laura Muir. And the race now beginning to emerge.
Well, there's still a pack there, isn't there? Hassan moving around the outside in that red vest and just getting clipped there by one of the other athletes. Wafula needs to really run off the track now. She's just getting in the way. Look at that, getting caught up in all the traffic. Seoum now slots in behind Hassan. Laura Muir in 4th place on the outside as they come towards the bell. And they go through with Hassan in the lead from Seoum. Jenny Simpson is there in third place, fourth place. She's looking strong and confident, isn't she, Muir? Running slightly wide on that penultimate bend as they head into the back straight. 300 metres to run, 1,200 metres. They were looking for 3:12. It's 3:14 at 64.99. Slightly slower that lap, but it doesn't matter. They're all still there. You've got a pack moving along almost at 4-minute tempo. Hassan from Seom, Simpson in third, Muir in fourth. And moving very strongly too. In fifth place is Kibiwat, I think, as these five now get away. And Hassan kicking hard from the front. Seom being stretched, but has she got the legs? Simpson deep in concentration there, moves onto the shoulder of the young Ethiopian. It's Hassan into the straight now, and she kicks again. Muir struggling in fourth place, but hanging on there ahead of Kibiwat. As it's Hassan leading from Simpson. Simpson coming through. Is she going to get there? She does. Simpson wins again from Hassan and Seom, and Laura Muir comes across the line there in what is surely a personal best. I got her at about 4:01, maybe a click under 4:01. Brilliant running from the Briton. In fact, just checking her personal best, she was hundreds outside 4 minutes last year, but it's a fabulous performance from Laura Muir, the Briton, behind that trio in front of her. She would have had to be in supreme form to get amongst then. Jenny Simpson winning the race unofficially in 3:59.31. What a run it was from Simpson, judged to perfection, only really getting a nose in front to it for the first time with about 20 metres to go.
Yeah, she's a good tactician, isn't she? She knows what she's doing, she's experienced, and really she timed it absolutely perfectly. A lot of credit to Muir, the British athlete. She ran that very well. She did the best she possibly could. She ran that 3,000 in Hengelo and did very, very well there. A personal best by a big margin, but she couldn't contain the three in front, and I'm not surprised. There's a lot of pedigree there. And Simpson, Jenny Simpson, the United States world champion, remember, back in 2011, just did it when it mattered, and Hassan had to settle for second place, just ahead of Seom of Ethiopia.
Well, the winning time for Simpson down on the trackside clock showing 3:59.31. It's yet to be confirmed in our computer. But Hassan didn't want to be beaten there tonight. She's annoyed at that one. Look at that grimace as she dips at the line. Simpson rightly smiling. She judged it to perfection, and it was run to her strengths. I mean, frankly, that was perfect for her. A good hard blast over the last 300, winding it up, and she just maintains her speed so well. I'm sure if we actually had a speedometer on her, we'd find that she was just holding her form, the best of them, not really accelerating down the home straight, as they're all struggling over the last 50. But Jenny Simpson, under 4 minutes, the fastest time in the world this year for the American and the European champion, and the young Ethiopian Seom in third place behind her.
Well, once again we go to the pole vault, and it's Renaud Lavillenie at 5:91. He had to go to this height to take on Braz. Oh yes, oh yes. First time clearance. Now let's get this right. He failed at 5:86 on his first occasion. He saw Braz go clear, so he then passed at 5:86, goes to the next height because he knows he's got to go to a greater height to beat Braz. He didn't want to lose on count back, so he now leads at 5:91.
Blanka Vlasic then, second attempt at 2 metres. Already has cleared 1:97. It's been a wonderful evening for the Croatian. Of course, the high jump, don't forget, the vertical jumps are so dependent upon confidence. They're tremendously psychologically sensitive, and she's getting her confidence back. She's equalled the world best this year with that 1:97 clearance. First time too. That too she'll be very pleased about. But now at 2 metres, a height she's cleared dozens of times. No, and that wasn't close. So a little mental barrier as much as a physical barrier for Vlasic there. Two attempts to come. Three athletes left in the competition, by the way. Let me see, 4 athletes going out at 1:97. Kuchina, Simic, Chicharova and Školina.
Ruth Betia, Spain then. Oh yes! Betia. Well, this young woman is really proving to be tough. A second attempt at 1:97. And she goes clear. So that's just looking back at that jump, because we've already seen a 2-meter jump. So that's just looking back at Bétier, second place. At that point, well, it equals the world lead, but of course we've seen Vlasic attempting 2 meters. So just to bring you up to date with that.
Anna Chicharova then of Russia. This, as we've seen Vlasic clear or attempt 2 meters, clearly is just catching up over the last half hour or so. Chicharova, their third and final attempt at 197. She's not the force she used to be, not yet anyway, that's for sure. And Anna Chicharova, well, her lifetime best is 2:07. That was back in 2011. She's a long way off that at the moment. Litwinko. She's a 199 jumper. This would be a new personal best for her. Third and final attempt. We're back live now, by the way. In second place. She's equaled the world best, her own world best. No. And she's gone. And Blanka Vlasic is back. That's the big news from the women's high jump. And as Stuart was pointing out, frankly, the event needs a little bit more spark to it these days. It's not in its not in a brilliant period.
Well, there's the lineup for the men's 100 meters. Sambini, the Republic of South Africa, in 1. Vico, France, in 2. Gatlin, USA, 3. Carter, Jamaica, 4. Rogers, USA, 5. Collins, St Kitts and Nevis, 6. Batson, USA, 7. Adams, USA, 8. And Fisher, Jamaica, in lane 9. Sambine of South Africa, personal best 10.02 last year, 10.09 this season. Vico of France, World Championship silver medalist in the relay, of course, in 2011, a best of 9.95, but not this season, 10.02. Justin Gatlin holds the world lead, 9.74, and then 19.68 over 200 meters in Eugene. So what a season this man is having. And the conditions are absolutely perfect here. Outside him is Nesta Carter, an important part of that Jamaican relay team, twice Olympic champion, 4x100 meters. That was in Beijing in 2008, again in London. He's a 9.78 man at his best. Rogers, Mike Rogers, was second in Eugene in 9.90. Was second in Doha in 9.96, so he's in sub-10 form. Good starter. And well, what about Kim Collins? 39 years old now, world champion in 100 meters in 2003 in Paris. 4 times world championship bronze medalist in 200, 100 and relays. This is DeAndre Batson of the United States, a season's best 10.04, which is his personal best. He was 7th in Doha in that race. So I'll need to find a little bit more here. That's Batson, and then just being introduced very slowly to the crowd. Then we've got Harry Adams of the United States, 10.08 his season's best. Personal best in 9.96, that was in 2012. And right on the outside, Andrew Fisher of Jamaica is 10.01 his season's best. So he's going quite well, and that's a personal best set this season. Simbine, Vico, Gatlin, Carter, Rogers, Collins, Batson, Adams and Fisher. The men's 100 meters. Very noisy around the start. Long hold, but Gatlin got away very well. Or he's already moving away from the rest of this field. And also Kim Collins going well, but Gatlin's away by a mile. Rogers and Vico and Rogers coming through. 9.74. He's done it again. Equal the world best. Now, whatever you think about this fella, he can run. He can run. 9.74 from start to finish, and the rest, well, were in his wake, weren't they? That's 3 very, very big victories in the 100 metres this season. 9.74 in Doha, 1968 over 200 metres in Eugene, and now another 9.74. It may be rounded down, incidentally, but I'll wait for the actual result coming up. It's got 9.75 on the clock now. But Gatlin is going to give Usain Bolt a little bother. 9.75 it is, a meeting record established by this man. The 100 metres men meeting record was held by Usain Bolt of Jamaica, set in 2012 at 9.76. Let's just look at it again. Rogers didn't get away too well. Carter was quite away, but then look at Gatlin go. Collins going well at this stage, and Rogers recovering, but Gatlin's away. Vico on the far side comes through very strongly to take second place, with Rogers holds on. So the European Jimmy Vico going very, very well indeed, but there was one man in this race setting a meeting record and taking away the record held by the fabulous Usain Bolt.
Well, Stuart, there's only a handful of men have gone as quick as that in history, and I think 4 men have gone faster than that in history. Bolt, Gay, Blake and Powell. Gatlin is in such a rich vein of form, and I mean, he has thrashed that field. You don't often see a 100-1 by a margin as big as that. In fact, if you do in major 100-metre races, there's only one other man that can do it, and that is Usain Bolt. And how ironic that it's Bolt's record that he's taken. But Bolt, of course, is aiming at Beijing. He's not aiming at winning Diamond League races now. As we go over to this pole vault, and Renaud Lavillenie. Lavillenie it is. Now, 5.91.
He was attempting, he's at 6.01, and he was attempting to go beyond Sergei Bubka's meeting record, which stands at 5.94.
I was going to say, he's cleared 5.91 and has passed at 5.96. He has the competition won. Braz, 3 failures at 5.91 for him. The Brazilian, though, with the personal best 5.86 for second place, has vaulted brilliantly. But there's the card for Lavillenie. 6.05, remember, last Saturday in the beautiful sunshine of Eugene. It's a pitch dark night now here in Rome.
Well, there's the result of that 100 metres. Justin Gatlin, 9.75, meeting record. Jimmy Vico in second place. And we'll bring you up to date with the points here at 8.32, the points. But certainly Vico in second and Rogers in third in that 100 metres result.
Well, Ruth Betia in this women's high jump competition. Here she goes, add 2 metres. Oh, lovely. Brilliant clearance from Betia. She's still going strong. She retired a couple of years ago and then decided she'd keep going and come back. And that's the first 2-metre jump in the world this year. The Spaniard is so consistent, so calm. European champion, of course, from last year in Zurich. European champion 2 years prior to that in Helsinki. And tonight, 2 metres yet again for Ruth Betia. At the age of 36 and a couple of months, she was only 7th in Doha 3 weeks ago in 1.88 m. Boy, oh boy, has she found some form tonight. Maybe Vlasic just adding that extra degree of spark to the competition, Stuart. Vlasic has made it up to this height. She's in the battle, but hasn't cleared it.
No, Betia has got this competition won.
And she's saying she's calling it a day there, I think. Yeah, early days in the season. These jumps do take it out of you.
Well, let's just look back at what we saw earlier on, and it was a very, very big throw by Vesely, who's really found his form here today. Big hit. Didn't get the meeting record, but he was getting close to it. It's held by Torkelston at 90.34, but that throw, 88 metres and 14, was the season's best for him. Yego got the national record for Kenya. Look at that, 87.71. And Walcott, a national record, the Olympic champion, 86.20 in third. And there the rest, the season's best for Bonvecchio.
Well, the next event on the track, the women's steeplechase, as we see the diamond race points from the javelin. Vesely on 5, Pitkamaki 4. What a night it's been, 9.75, as we can check the result of that men's triple jump. 17.96, a meeting record for Pablo Pichardo. 1, 2, 3 for the Cubans, Copello and Reve in second and third. And again, the distance is quite supreme in that particular distance, a meeting record for Pichardo. And he's on 8 points after 2 wins, Copello in second, and Taylor as well on 2 points. Well, there's the field for the 3,000 metres steeplechase. They're looking for an ambitious tempo of 3:02 for the first kilometre. Is this field? Only one woman has ever broken 9 minutes in history. That was Galkina back in 2008, winning the Olympics in Beijing. Only 10 women have ever gone sub 9 minutes 10. So it's not an easy territory to hit. Hiwot Ayalu is one of the few who has done it. She's run 9:09. That was a couple of years back. She's number 10 all time, Ayalu. She goes in this field, as indeed does Sofia Asefa. Vlasova there goes on the inside for Russia, then Kuba of Germany, Browser of Germany, Batish of Algeria, Damu of Ethiopia, Madeline Heiner of Australia in very good form, Alemu, well, Bertakan Fente Alemu, only 10th in Shanghai in 15-16 in the 5,000. Can she go better here? There's Asefa, the Olympic bronze medalist, number 8 all time. Ayalu perhaps starts as the favourite here, world number 1 last year. Second in Doha, though, in a season's best. And it was in Doha where she was beaten by young Virginia Nyambura of Kenya, who was the pacemaker, stayed in there, battled away, got past, and then came back and sprinted past Ayalu to take the win. That winning time, by the way, by Nyambura, which tops the world rankings, 9:21. That might be living on borrowed time. But they have gone off at a very healthy tempo here, there's no doubting that. The pacemaker and Gattoni, not very experienced, I would suggest. And perhaps that's being shown by the fact she's got about an 8-metre gap after 180 metres. She needs to have a little glance over her shoulder there. She did have a look up at the big screen there. Whether or not she's fed that information through to her legs, made an adjustment, I don't know. Oh, and somebody's clipped an ankle there at that jump and is struggling, and I'm just trying to see if it's one of the big names. Alamiru, I think it is, who is hobbling around that second bend of this steeplechase, and surely she won't carry on. She's just cleared a barrier. She seemed determined to do so, way out of shot. She's 30 metres behind the field now. Well, it's a reasonably healthy clip. They're down to almost single file as they approach the water jump for the first time. Remember, they don't negotiate the water jump on the first lap. So Gattoni, then the little pacemaker, takes them over that one safely. And the rest of them clear it. Madeline Heiner, well, she's a bit of a revelation, the Australian, 28 years old, 4th in the Commonwealth Games last year. Set a personal best, went a good 6th in Doha. And I rather stupidly back then just assumed she was a German with a name like that, but she's not. She started the year really well. She won the Melbourne World Challenge meeting and then converted well to the Northern Hemisphere season with that 6th in Doha.
Well, let's just look at this third and final attempt. Villani at 6 metres and 1. In fact, it's his second attempt. Oh, it was so close, so close, so close. He's got one more attempt to go. And that at 6:01, just to bring you up to date, he cleared 591, passed at 596, had 2 failures now at 6 metres and 1 in his attempt to erase Sergei Bubka's 1984 record, which stands at 5 metres and 94. So he's got one more attempt left.
Back to the steeplechase. Nyambura is in there on the World Youth Olympic 2 kilometre steeplechase 5 years back. And then relatively absent from the scene until she burst out with that brilliant run in Beijing. She's in third place at the moment, and the rest of them trying to stay with this pace, trying to get back to it, so to speak, with Heine tucked in right behind the pacemaker.
Alimu and Asefa are all up in that leading group, well, the second group, but they will, hopefully for them, finish a little bit closer to the front, so they have got the pedigree. Sophia Asefa of Ethiopia, bronze medalist in the Olympic Games, of course, in London. She didn't do so well in Doha, incidentally. She was 7th in that race and didn't perform as we would have expected. Ayalu, also of Ethiopia, up there as well in that trailing group. But early days yet.
The first kilometre, 3:05.99, call it 3:06. And there, I'm afraid, oh, that's a very sad sight. Adamu being carried off the track, twisted her ankle after about 250 metres on the first lap, I think, at one of the jumps. And tried to battle on very bravely, hobbled on for about 150 metres before calling it a day. But Heine here really taking this race to the rest of them. And you've got to say, good luck to her. Nyambura, it is in third place. Looking very comfortable too, behind Heine. They go through with 4 laps to run. Heine hurdling well, clearing the barriers well. Kieng, it is in 4th place. Then Alemu.
I think we can break off there to go to the third attempt, live for Renaud Lavillenie at 6:01. Third and final attempt for the Olympic champion, 3 times European champion. Oh, it looked so good, and it came down on the bar again. You can see that there's far more in there, and that look of frustration. It looked as though he'd got it, and he came back down on it, and so Sergei Bubka's meeting record at 5:94 remains. He's so determined. He charges down that runway. The plant is emphatic, and he comes down on that bar once again. You can see how he is, how he achieved that world record of 6:16. He's such a dynamic athlete in every sense. He's not that big, but my goodness me, he's fast.
Back to this steeplechase, and Heine's still leading, and Nyambura, who looks so impressive with that win in Shanghai, is enjoying some pacemaking herself, in effect, on this particular occasion. The tiny Kenyan tucked in second place behind the tall Australian. Bad stutter there from Heine at that barrier. But 9:21, the time from Nyambura, when she set that world-leading performance. In Doha, actually, I think I said Shanghai, as they head down the back straight and beginning to make a presence felt now. Ayalu in the blue, the tall figure there, who is deceptive really in the way she runs, because she's so slight in her upper body, and yet she can really turn it on, the speed on the final lap when she needs to. They go through with a 3:09, 6:15 at 2 kilometres. That's a little bit slower than the first kilometre, which was 3:06. Still solid tempo though, and if they can pick it up here, and Heine has got to dig deep here and try and go with this surge from Nyambura. Ayalu in second, Kieng in third, Krause, Petish, Vlasova, Fugberg, European Team Championship winner last year, struggling to go with this now. They're a long way back. 2 laps to run then in the ladies' steeplechase. Nyambura, the world #1 at the moment, leading from the tall figure of Hiwot Ayalu, the Olympic 5th placer, World Championship 4th placer the following year, 2 years ago in Moscow. Boy, does she deserve a medal. And into the back straight for the penultimate time, and it has slowed. Nyambura, I don't know if she's doing this on purpose or what, but Heine was tucked into that group, and they're beginning to bunch. And she needs to stride out here, does Nyambura, if she wants to reduce these numbers a little bit. Chepkurui, the World Championship silver medalist there for Kenya, in 5th place in the pink to the left of picture. But Heine's mixing it here with the best of the East Africans. It's really good to see. Beginning to move up now is Asefa in 6th place, the Olympic bronze medalist, 8th fastest in history, who was, as Stuart pointed out, only 7th in Doha. Really uncharacteristically poor run from her. Didn't run as anywhere near as slow as that all of last year. Her time 9:35 in Doha. But they come towards the bell now. Nyambura from Kiyeng. And Ayalu is there as well. Chet Kurui, the tall figure on the inside. Looking strong at the moment, running the shortest line. Heine is still in there. 5 of them away. Heine's got to try and hang on to their coattails now as they go into the back straight for the final time. Nyambura loses the lead for the first time in this last kilometre, and she surges to try and keep that figure beside her at bay. Kiyeng it is, right alongside her, pushing hard to get pole position. Ayalu stalking the pair of them in 3rd place. Now Heine is struggling. She's back in 5th, but still having a solid run. She's got to try and gut it out this last 200 metres, the Australian, as the leaders head into the bend in the water jump for the fine time. This is crucial. You can lose a metre or two with bad footwork. Nyambura skips over it, doesn't touch the barrier at all, leads into the straight now. And it's Nyambura with Kiyeng on the outside in the purple. On the inside, the tall figure of Ayalu. Looks like she's beaten at the moment. Treads on that final barrier. Awful clearance from her. And Kiyeng Eders, who kicks away towards the line. Watch the clock. This is fast. 9:15.08. They've covered that final kilometre in about 3 minutes. Brilliant running from Kiyeng there to steal the win from Nyambura. Ayalu losing a lot of ground at the final barrier, although she didn't have the legs anyway. But I tell you what, that's a heck of a run too, in the wake of those East African from Madeleine Heine. I'm sure she will have run a personal best. She came here with 9:28.41 as a lifetime best. That was from Doha 3 weeks ago. The Commonwealth 4th placer has just run out of her skin. The winning time confirmed there for Kiyeng at 9:15.08.
Well, certainly Kiyeng showed some form, didn't she, in Doha? She was 3rd in that, but a 9:22, and has come very, very much better this time. She ran a very sensible race, and it ended up as a very quick race and a world lead time in the end, ahead of Nyambura, who had an official personal best of 9:15.75. Just have a look at this in the final stages. Ayalu in 3rd place at 9:16.87, but a real battle in the home straight here between Kiyeng, Nyambura and Ayalu, struggling a little bit in the final stages, and Kiyeng had a little bit more in the tank at the end.
Well, from Kiyeng, that's very, very strong running. A huge personal best for her. Over 7 seconds, the personal best. She's improved. Heine, 9:21.56, a personal best for her in 5th place. So she's only less than 3 seconds outside the Australian record. But Kenyans 1, 2 and 4 in that one, with Ayalu just spoiling the clean sweep in 3rd place. Here it is again off the final barrier. This is sheer guts now. This is a real killer of an event. As you get more and more tired, those barriers don't reduce in height, they stay the same height. And if you clatter into them, they are mighty, mighty hard. They don't really budge. Different parts of your body do. But Kiyeng there, staying clear of the barriers and the rest of the field as she gets to the line. And a good win for the Kenyan, a huge personal best and a world lead, 9:15.08.
Well, I tell you what, the crowd have been treated to a magnificent evening's athletics. Kiyeng, Nyambura and Ayalu. And look at all those personal bests and season's bests in that race. But Kiyeng has come of age with that 9:15.08 on this occasion. And there are the rest, how they fared.
Yes, Fugberg out of sorts there, down on 9:53, the Swede. And in the diamond race, Nyambura leading with 6 points after a win in Doha and a 2nd place tonight. Kiyeng in 2nd.
Well, there's another look at the way through this race. That was a little bit earlier. Let's look at some of the techniques of clearing those barriers. I think that at the end, well, that's one dropout athlete just looking back at the race. It does take its toll, this steeplechase, it really does.
There's that final barrier clearance from Nyambura. Skips over it with the legs tucked under her. And again there, the height she's achieving, so unnecessarily, the wasted energy. There will be steeplechase coaches wincing at that technique because the centre of gravity had to go so high, much higher than necessary. Kiyeng perhaps benefiting from that to some degree, driving hard for the line. They're looking really strong, focusing on the tape. and acknowledging the victory by 2 or 3 metres. It is a tough event, the women's steeplechase. Some critics say it's not yet really landed, and there's not the strength and depth that you see in so many other middle distance disciplines. That is Adamu, very sadly twisting an ankle. She did run on, must have been in a lot of pain, Bertakan Adamu. The 23-year-old, she had a best of 9:20, only 9:41 this year. There's that final barrier clearance from Kiyang and Nairamburu. It was a 1-2 though for the Kenyans.
Well, just looking at some of the performances we've had during the course of this evening. We began with Dave Stall in the shot at 21 metres and 46. A good performance by him. But let's have a little look and a run back at the triple jump now, just to underline one of the big events. Reve in third place in that triple jump. Couldn't quite match the form of the man that really dominated in the end, the Cuban Ricardo. But this is Capello in second place. Got a season's best at 17 metres and 15 here. World Championship bronze medalist in 2009 in Berlin. And then the man that actually won this competition is a man who really has posed his intent, certainly recently in Havana. Remember, he had an 18:06 in winning in Doha, and then went back to Havana and jumped 18:08, and here 17:96, and a new meeting record. And he broke the meeting record held by Britain's Jonathan Edwards, set in 1998, which stood at 17 metres and 60. So Pedro Pablo Pichardo of Cuba in great form at the moment to win that triple jump. There it is, 17.96. Capello at 17.15 and Reve at 16.89. That's the 1, 2, 3.
Well, hard to pick out the performance of the night, Stuart, but well, you have to say Gatlin certainly looked very strong, didn't he, with that 9.75. He'd be pushing for it. Yeah,
I think you're right. And you began with a long jump with Klishkina at 6.89, just ahead of Britain's Shara Proctor. But there's the high jump result, incidentally. Betia at 2 metres, a world lead. Vlasic and Litwinko in second and third at 1.97. It was a very good competition in the end, and at last it's got to into the realms of respectability to 2 metres. There it is, 4 points to Palsaite, who wasn't here tonight, as well as Bete. So it's early days for that competition. Long way to go in the season for that. Klishkina, we mentioned.
La Villani winning the pole vault with 5 metres 91 from Thiago Braza. South American record, an area record there, 5.86 for the Brazilian Gripic, 5.71, just taking third on countback from Philippidis. And Valentin La Villani, not in the form he was in Eugene last week, in 10th place on 5.56.
Yes, he was.
And La Villani there, that's Renaud La Villani, of course, on 8 points, 2 victories to him. Philippines on 4, and Braz on 2 now.
Yeah, we'll get some more results, I would think, but Mohamed Aman was pretty impressive in the 800 metres. There's Betia collecting her flowers at Aman with 1:43.56. Johnny Dutch started the evening in the 400 metre hurdles and won that quite well. He's had a couple of wins now and looks to be the target, just showing a bit of gymnastic dexterity there.
Well, he's enjoying himself, isn't he, Johnny Dutch? He said the important thing is to stay healthy, keep working hard and keep focused, as were his comments after the race. And he certainly did that. Aman, what a win it was in the 800 metres from the little Ethiopian. 1:43.56, the fastest time in the world this year. The first 4 men going under 1:44. Amos in second in that one.
Well, that 5,000 metres was very impressive as a young 17-year-old winning that, and it's good to see Vlasic back at 1.97 in the high jump. And
McCrory.
Well, that's McCrory at the end of the, it's either before or after the 400 metres.
I think it's definitely after, Stu. And Jenny Simpson, supreme once again in that women's 1,500 metres. What a victory it was for her, just outside 4 minutes.
Yeah, and look at this, Justin Gatlin again. Lots of people have their thoughts about the man, but he is competing, and we've got to celebrate the performances that he achieves at 9.75. Some wonderful performances. Kieng completing the evening with that 3,000 steeplechase, of course. We've mentioned Gatlin and Simpson. La Villenie in the pole vault, just missing out on Bubka's record. Gatlin broke Usain Bolt's meeting record here, so that'll please him. And what about that 100-meter hurdles for women? Well, hurdles were crashed everywhere. It was absolutely, well, it was I can tell you we've got no news on how Sally Pearson's, how bad that injury was with Sally Pearson. She was holding her wrist. Let's just hope that it's nothing serious in this World Championship year. The crowd have enjoyed this stadium that had a pretty good crowd, really. It looked sparse, but I have to say once again there's 75,000 seats here, so you can easily get lost in this stadium. And I guess when you think about the performances that we've had tonight and in the previous 3 meetings, well, those World Championships, as they build, the athletes build towards them, are going to be quite something, aren't they?
I think it's the meeting where the European season has come of age, really, Stuart. I mean, you look at the 5 men under 13 minutes in the 5,000. There were 3 ladies under 4 minutes in the 1,500 metres. Indeed, 10th place was under 4:04 in that women's 1,500 metres. The strength in depth just shows that more and more athletes are beginning to fire on all cylinders.
I think you're right. The conditions were perfect. It was 29 degrees in the day. It cooled down towards the evening, and of course the performances reflected the good conditions here. Little or no wind at all. It didn't help the javelin, although there was an 88.14 performance by the man coached by Zalesny, and Jan Zalesny, the multiple Olympic champion, of course. And early on in the discus, Sandra Perkovic of Croatia, 67.92, another victory. There was so much to celebrate on this evening, and I'm sure that when we move forward to the next meeting in 2 or 3 days' time in Birmingham, the performances, the weather forecast, I understand, a little bit stormy, but weather forecast is pretty good. It was 24 degrees in the UK today, and let's hope that that weather persists throughout the weekend so that we can see the very best of the 5th of these Diamond League meetings now. We're coming to the close of this competition. The performances were excellent, records broken, new world leads, as one would expect, of course, as we approach the 5th of our meetings. There are the leaders in the diamond race. Gatlin, of course, Dave Stall's got 10 points there, and of course Bartoletta, Perkovic on 8, McCrory on 8, and Pichardo on 8 in the early stages. Johnny Dutch has got 8 as well. So that's how the diamond race stands for men and women at the stage of the competition. And with the 5th meeting to come very shortly in the UK, in Birmingham, I have to say that there's so much to look forward to. When will Usain Bolt come into competition? When will he run against Justin Gatlin? Will we have to wait to the World Championships? Well, we'll have to wait and see. Birmingham on the 7th, that's on Sunday in the United Kingdom. So please join us there for what promises to be a very, very good meeting indeed. And the weather, we understand, is good. Goodbye. So the next event on the track is the men's 110 metres hurdles. It should be a good one, this, as none of the big names are here, but we should get performances close to 13-1 or 2, I would think. Davis of Trinidad and Tobago in lane 1, Bargi of Hungary in 2, O'Farrell Cuba in 3, Shubenkov Russia 4, Darien France 5, Bascu France 6, Porter USA 7, Riley Jamaica 8, and Fofana of Italy in lane 9. 10 barriers, and young photographer. There's Davis, World Youth Champion some years ago in Trinidad and Tobago. He's got a best of 13.20, so he's quite a useful competitor. He's drawn on the outside lane. Next to him is the Hungarian Bargi. Bargi, of course, is a 13.29 man, and that was last year in Zurich in the European Championships. O'Farrell next to him is a Cuban, and the Cubans, of course, have had Robles and Garcia in the past. There's another one coming through, another World Junior Champion. And this is Shubenkov, Sergei Shubenkov, twice European champion, the last 2 championships, running pretty well indeed. Still hasn't got under that 13 seconds. Garfield Darien, twice European Championship silver medalist, the last 2 occasions, best of 13.15. And then we've got Bascu, another Frenchman here, who 3 times the national champion. They've had a pretty good run of competitors in the 110 metre hurdles, certainly. And now you've got Jeff Porter of the United States, Tiff Porter's husband, and he goes in the 7th lane, a best of 13.08. And then we have Andrew Riley, who was the Commonwealth Games champion last season in Glasgow. And right on the outside is Fofana of Italy. So the men's 110 metres high hurdles: Davis, Bargi, O'Farrell, Shubenkov, Darien, Bascu, Porter, Riley, and Fofana. As Darien, 13.15 is best, set in 2012. Well, no problem with the start indeed. O'Farrell of Cuba going very strongly at the moment. And on the near side here you've got Porter going well, and also Bascu of France. Porter going well, but look at this. This is a very good run by Shubenkov in the end, and Darien really working very hard in that race. But Shubenkov is the European champion at 13.09. He's a man who really in the past has not quite developed that 13.09 performance which he set in 2012, and really I guess we'll have to wait. But Shubenkov looked to me to be there, and he was at 13.23, a season's best for him, and it was Darien in 2nd place with exactly the same time. Have another look at this, Tim. It's a very close finish.
It is indeed. I like Shubenkov. He works really hard. He punches above his weight, you know, when he comes to major championships, when he comes to big races, he gets it right. He absolutely maximizes what he can out of his legs. And to be twice European champion at the age of 24, and to take this one by thousandths of a second from Darien, well, very impressive indeed. Good run from Jeff Porter, 13.32 in 3rd place. But this was the battle between these two. They were not giving a millimetre, were they? And just looking at their reaction times, exactly the same to the thousandth of a second, both of them. 0.149, their reaction time. They cannot be separated. Thankfully, a much tidier race than the Women's Diamond League race that was on earlier in the evening. That was chaotic, wasn't it? There's still no news of Sally Pearson's wrist injury.
Well, there's the result of that high hurdles race. Shubinkov 13.23, Darian also 13.23, with Jeff Porter coming through to take third place in 13.32.
Andrew Riley, Commonwealth champion, down in 7th place there. Uncharacteristically a moderate run there from the Jamaican. Next event on the track is the men's 200 metres.
We're going to do the lap. Okay, okay, okay.
Well, there's the lineup for the men's 200 metres now. Desalu of Italy drawn in lane 1, Marani of Italy in 2, Ujia of Great Britain in 3, and Kanata of Kenya in 4, Aaron Brown of Canada in 5, Lemaitre of France in 6, and then Sakonis of Greece in 7, Adams the USA in lane 8, and Hardy of the United States in lane 9. That's how they line up for this next race. Well, going from the outside, that's Pletzel Hardy of the United States, got a best of 20.16. Drawn in the outside, he's got everyone to chase, they'll chase him. So he's got the, he's a World Youth Champion incidentally back in 2009. So interesting to see how he goes. Inside him, Harry Adams of the United States will come to as Adams. And Sakonis of Greece, that's Sakonis there in the all-black strip. He's got a 9 times their national champion at 100 metres, many times at 200 metres. Lemaitre, the tall figure in the dark strip in the centre. And inside Lemaitre is Aaron Brown of Canada. Now Brown of Canada in the 5th lane is a very, very strong competitor indeed. Let's start off again. Pletzel Hardy of the United States drawn on the outside lane in the lane 9. Inside him is Harry Adams. Hardy, a World Youth Champion back in 2009. Adams, a best of 20.10 this season. Inside him is Sakonis of Greece. And 9 times their national champion over 100 metres and as many over 200. Lemaitre, Christophe Lemaitre, 4 times the European champion. 100, 200, 4x100 metres relay. A Frenchman with a pedigree. And behind him, Aaron Brown. Now, Aaron Brown, very, very strong competitor. Brown has got a 20.16 this season. Kanata inside him in the all-green strip is the African Championship bronze medalist last season. There's Chinjundu Uja of Great Britain. Spoke to him earlier. He's doing a little bit of speed work, a little bit of speed endurance training in this race. Marani of Italy inside him. Marani has got a best of 20.36 and 20.94 this season. So, and that's Desalu of Italy. 20.55 his personal best, set in Zurich last year in the European Championship. So Desalu, Marani, Uja, Kanata, Brown, Lemaitre, Sakonas, Adams and Hardy. Men's 200 metres.
On your mark.
Aaron Brown in that fifth lane. Oh, we have a false start, which means that if that is adjudged to be a false start, then there will be a disqualification, I would think. Wasn't entirely obvious, I must admit.
Well, I'm just looking at the reaction times, Stuart, and I can't see anybody at fault. Let's hope it was a faulty start rather than a full start by somebody there, and there's a disqualification coming. Pietro Minaya, still very much a legend here, of course, the Italian who still holds that European record from that altitude-assisted run at Mexico City. At World Student Games it was, where he set that 19.72 time.
Just having a look at this again. Well, that's certainly not obvious to me, and it's not obvious when we look at it statistically. Obviously trying to see where it might be, but you can't tell. So here we go for the second time of asking. I don't think there's disqualification in this. That's Kanata of Kenya, drawn in the fourth lane, the African Championship bronze medalist last year. That's Ujar of Great Britain, and Marani of Italy, and Desalu of Italy on the inside. So, the men's 200 metres once again. Christophe Lemaitre in the background, the 4 times European champion, the 100 and 200 metres. Won all 3, no one else has done that in a European Championship. Sprint treble in Barcelona in 2010. That was Kanata of Kenya. 20.14 his best, Kanata. That's a green card, so no one was responsible. So let me take you through the lineup once again. Desalu, Marani, Uja, Kanata, Brown, Lemaitre, Sakonas, Adams and Hardy. The men's 200 metres. They're off pretty well. Uja got away well. Uja's really motoring around the bend. Lemaitre going quite well. Brown inside him going well. But Uja coming into the home straight right on the outside is Harry Adams going very strongly. And also Sakonas of Greece. And here goes Uja. Sakonas of Greece is going to take this one. Lemaitre in second place. And on the near side in lane 8, Harry Adams in third. And I think then Uja in fourth. But 20.10 the time for Sakonas of Greece. And that is a personal best for him. And plus 0.8, so it's legal. A very, very good run indeed. And Uja had a very good bend. Remember, he's a He's certainly a 100-metre specialist, but very, very good bend, and really worked very hard down the straight. But in the end, Sakonas took it, Lemaitre and Adams in that order, with Ujar. 20.47 for Ujar, a personal best in 4th place, just missing out on the 3rd place of Harry Adams at 20.32. Lemaitre back in form.
Well, it was pretty impressive, wasn't it, from Sakonas eventually. 3rd to left. He didn't start particularly quickly. He built momentum, certainly at this stage, really, in the yellow spikes there. So the 4th from left, I thought that Lemaitre was in the lead halfway around the bend, but Sakonas, they're very strong off the bend, and he stays rocking from side to side, stays ahead. They're trying to come back at him. Outside him, they're going really strongly as Harry Adams in the purple. Lemaitre, they're dipping there for 2nd place ahead of Adams, with Ujar in 4th place, as he rightly said, Stuart. But good conditions, it's still a warm evening, plus 0.8, enough following wind to give them a little bit of help. But he looks the part, doesn't he, Sakonas? Big, tall character, and that's a big personal best too, improving from 20.31 at the beginning of the month to 20.10.
And Lemaitre coming back to form, which is good news for France.
Well, now results computer here saying a meeting record, but it certainly wasn't, because the meeting record belongs to Walter Dix at 1986. Born in Sparta, Lykurgos Stefanos Sakonas. Tough character. He's in fine fettle on the 9th of May. He set that personal best in Kania of 20:32, and tonight 20.10. The Greeks have a sprinter to be reckoned with.
Well, there is the result of the 200 metres. Sakonas, 20.09. Ignore the meeting record, it wasn't. Christophe Lemaitre, 20.28. And Harry Adams, 20.32. And a personal best for Jinjindu Ujar, 20.47 in 4th place.
Chin up.
Renaud Lavillenie, 5.91. Beautiful, beautiful clearance.
Look at this, revised 2.
Yeah, because they had Hassan winning. Well, the news about Sally Pearson's only just come to us that it appears, and this is not doubly confirmed, but it appears that there is a fracture of a bone, whether it's wrist or arm, we don't know.
Next event on the track then, the women's 400-metre hurdles, and there's the lineup. European champion Ailey Child goes in lane 4 for Great Britain. It's a strong field, however. Look out in particular for Lashinda Demas of the USA, who goes in lane 3, the third fastest athlete in history, Demas, although her outings so far this year haven't been too impressive. She was only 5th in Shanghai a couple of weeks ago in 56.14. Conditions in the arena really superb. It's a warm evening in Rome. Axel Douwens of Belgium goes in lane 1, finalist in the European Championships last year, 3 times Belgian champion. Then Yadislady Pedroso, again a finalist, the Italian, at those European Championships. Born in Havana, Cuba, took up Italian citizenship 2 years ago. There is Demas, one of the greats of this event, the world champion back in 2011. Also has a 4x400 metres gold from 2009 for the USA from the World Championships. In lane 4, Ailey Child. Probably has mixed feelings about her opening run of the season. It wasn't particularly quick, outside 56 seconds in Ostrava. Then Hanna Titimets of Ukraine goes in lane 5. The European Championships silver medalist last year behind Ailey Child. The margin between them was just a few hundredths of a second. Cassandra Tate goes in lane 6 for the USA. Season's best of 55.68. She was 3rd in Shanghai 3 weeks back. Genevieve Russell of Jamaica, former world junior champion and Commonwealth bronze medalist last year, goes in lane 7. best of 54.75 from last year. Georgianne Moline, the Olympic fifth placer for the USA. She goes in lane 8. Her lifetime best, 53.72, was back in 2013, almost exactly 2 years ago to the day. And the lineup completed there on the outside by the Nigerian Amaka Ogogbanam. She's in lane 9, the African Championship silver medalist last year, has a lifetime best of 55.4, as the 25-year-old. Well, the fastest time in the world this year is by Wenda Teron Nel of South Africa in Beijing. She won with 54.37. That was just a couple of weeks ago, seems longer ago than that. But Nel is not here tonight, and that time looks vulnerable. The lineup from the inside again. Douwens in 1 for Belgium, Pedroso of Italy 2. There's Demas we just saw in 3 for the USA. Child, European champion, in 4 for Britain. Titimetz 5, Tate 6, Russell 7, Moline 8, Ogogbanam lane 9. Away without any trouble. Who's first to rise? It's Demas, who've gone off very quickly indeed. Moline too on the outside there has made up good ground on Ogogbanam outside her. Left her picture, Moline in the pink, but third from right there as you look at them down the back straight. Demas is leading at the moment, looking very strong indeed. She is an aggressive racer, she's strong, she's confident. At least her confidence will grow if she has a good run here tonight. She's left Pedroso of Italy way behind her. She's to right a picture at the moment. In lane 3 is Demas, clearing that one well, but so did Ailey Child, who's run a really good second bend. Child there, the European champion, comes into the straight with a slight lead. Good running from Moline nearest the camera. Moline, in fact, leading. It's Child got some work to do. Demas is going backwards now. It's back to the drawing board for her, but Moline skips over that final barrier with a lead. A real challenge coming through from Russell. Is she going to steal second from Ailey Child? She does indeed, or does the European champion dip there to take second place? The win, there's no doubt about that, though. It was Georgianne Moline of the USA. She was the Olympic fifth placer, only 4th in Shanghai. A win here tonight in 54.48, it would seem, just outside that time of Teron Nel of South Africa, which still tops the world rankings. But a very impressive run indeed from Moline, out in lane 8.
Yes, indeed, Russell did beat Child. It's come up on the computer by 1/100th of a second, 54.83 to 54.84. So, but Moline, a very, very good run indeed at 54.47, a season's best for all 4 of the first. Now, I have to say that Edith Child ran a very, very well-balanced race. She was in the right place at the right time. Just needs a little bit more work, a little bit more strength, endurance in the final stages here. And it looked at one stage as though she was going to close down on Moline, but then she just faltered a little as the Jamaican came through with that 54.83. But season's best for pretty well everyone in that race. It's just been one of those nights. It's one of the early 400-meter hurdles, and of course those times will be bettered as we go through and approach the World Championships later on this year in 11 weeks' time.
Well, it's like so many disciplines, isn't it? You do need to race yourself into shape. It's all very well putting in hard training and feeling great in training, but there is no substitute for competition and that focus that the competitive element brings to your performance. Ogogbanam towards the outside. She was in lane 9, finished in 7th place there with a season's best of 56.72. But the first 5 athletes home producing season's best. And a really solid run from the European champion, Ailey Child, in 3rd place. Behind Moline, there is smiling Georgianne Moline. No wonder she's smiling. That's only a little bit slower than she ran all of last year. And there is confirmation of the win for the American. Georgianne Moline, a season's best 54.47 ahead of Russell, 54.83 in second. Child, 54.84. 3 athletes below 55 seconds in the women's 400 hurdles. And confirmation from the win for Jenny Simpson there, world-leading time, 3:59.31 for the American. Another great win over a big field. Hassan, the European champion, in 2nd place. Sayoum, the world #1 prior to tonight, in 3rd place. The first 3 under 4 minutes. And a great one from Laura Muir there, Britain, in 4th place.
Hassan with 6 points. Sayoum with 5 and Simpson with 2. That's the diamond point situation, 1,500 metres.
Justin Gatlin, yet another victory. Congratulations. Talk us through the race. How was it?
I just sat down with my coach. After he talked me through the race. He's like, you're going against some of the best starters in the world. Nesta Carter, Mike Rogers, Kim Collins, even the young bloods out there like Andrew Fisher, who have great starts. So I had to make sure I commanded the race 40 to 60 meters, and then make sure that I kept putting my feet down and hopefully hold all of them off going to the finish line.
Third straight victory in Rome. That's 23 victories now since you last lost a race. How on earth do you keep that winning feeling going? You must feel the pressure.
You keep it going by not thinking about it. I don't think about the win streak. I take one race at a time, and that's what I've really been focusing on. Rome was it's the last leg of my first start of my tour, and I want to get home, get some rest for about a month, get some good training in, see my son and family, and get ready for national championships.
This venue, of course, has got added significance. It's where you beat Usain Bolt. Was that on your mind when you lined up tonight?
No, it really wasn't that. Rome is full of tradition, and I want to be able to have my own mark here. So this is my third victory in a row. I want to start my own tradition here, and hopefully I can do the same thing next year.
Many people will say, okay, Justin Gatlin, clearly he's the in-form athlete over 100 and 200, but the World Championships is 3 months away. He's peaked too soon. Tell me why they're wrong.
Well, like I said, Rome is my last leg of my first part of my season. I'm gonna go home and rest for a month, and get myself ready. Just get some good training in and get ready for the 200, which is at the end of my national championships. So I have a good amount of time, over 3 weeks, to get myself fit and stay rested and get ready for maybe a couple of 200s before the World Championship. And I'm just going to go out there and do what I have to do in the World Championships.
For many people, if there was a World Championship tomorrow, Justin Gatlin in lane 4, Usain Bolt in lane 5, you would win by a huge distance. Are they right?
There's not a World Championship tomorrow. So.
But if it were?
I couldn't say that. When you line up, especially in track and field, you never know what happens. So, I like to say that I can go out there. I'm one of the best starters in the world, and hopefully I can take the field in the beginning and hold them off. But you got to understand that Usain is a gamer. He's going to come ready when it's time. And if it was tomorrow, then I have to make sure I'm on my P's and Q's and have my A game ready.
You must fancy your chances, though. Come on, don't kid anybody. You are in form.
I'm in form. I used last year, just to go out there and have a good race strategy, and I'm trying to take it into this year, and I've been successful thus far, and I just want to be ready for next year and the year after. But right now I feel good, and hopefully I can stay healthy.
We hope so too. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Renaud Lavelini, congratulations, another victory. First of all, how is the shoulder?
Shoulder is great. So that's a good thing, because after Eugene, I did little recovery, little physio on the shoulder, and now it's like to be behind me, so that's a good point. And then, when you win, it's much more easy to feel good. So,
when you're jumping and when you're competing, are you thinking about it at all?
No. I try to forget it and just to stay focused on what I have to do. So that's a good point. And today it works again pretty good. So that's good for the future.
6:01 didn't quite happen tonight. How big a problem is that?
It's not a big problem. When you saw my second jump, I think you can think that the bar could stay on the high. So I'm really happy, because the jump were pretty good. And when you think that 4 days later, before I was in America, the jet lag and everything is not the best way to prepare the competition. So be able to make a competition like that is really good for my mind, really good for my work. And also take the 4th pound of diamonding is good for me, because now I can go ahead and keep the leadership of this event. So I'm really proud for that.
We have just under 3 months to go until Beijing, the World Championships. How badly would you like to have that title from Mr. Holtstepper?
2 years ago, Rafael beat me in this stadium. Today I take the win, so I hope that it could be a good sign for Beijing. So we just have to wait now.
Fantastic, well done.
Thanks a lot.
Félicitations.
Merci.
И just это час. И just это час.
Just a little English. Okay. Jasmine Stars, what a race. It was all going well for 60 meters. Tell us what happened.
I hit a hurdle, probably about third or fourth hurdle. I couldn't gain back momentum, so I knew after that it was pretty much over with.
How hard was it to keep going till the end of the race?
It was a little hard. I had to gain back one time, and then after I hit another hurdle, it was really hard to gain back to finish in a good position. So it's all a learning experience. I'm here to learn and improve and get ready for the next race.
You've been in such unbelievable form in 2015. How much of a setback is this?
That's not setback at all. It's all a learning experience, like I said. So I'm continuing to fix the things I messed up on and get ready for the next race.
And what is the next race?
It's Birmingham. England.
We'll see you there.
All right, see you.
Cheers. Jenny Simpson, what a finish. Where did you find that speed from? Talk us through it.
Oh, I think I was so panicked from being boxed in with, 220 meters to go that all of that energy came out in the last 60 meters when I finally got free.
And what does it mean to meet two of the in-form athletes? Hassan, say what? How does that feel?
It feels amazing. The women that I have to compete against are so good. And I always get nervous before the start because I know they're going to fight me all the way to the line. And I was nervous because they had a little bit of jump on me the last 100, but I dug really deep. I think that's the hardest I've ever kicked in a race. And it felt really good to come with a win.
And the time to boot?
Oh, the time was so great. After my victory lap, I kept asking, does anyone know if it was under 4 minutes? So that just feels like such a great goal to hit so early in the season.
And we got a World Championships, a little Mata in Beijing coming up. Just give us how much confidence that gives you. It must be coursing through your veins.
Yeah, last year was so consistent that I felt really good at the end of that season, but you always wonder, can I match it the next year? So it's funny, even a good season last year, it doesn't mean anything until you prove it on the track again. So these first two races, huge confidence headed towards August.
Keep it going. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
After 197, it was fun.
Blanka Vlasic, welcome back to Rome.
Thank you.
They call you the Queen of Rome.
Oh.
I wonder why.
I don't know. Because I'm often here, so they remembered me.
You looked as though you had great fun out there today.
Yeah, I was, I was struggling a lot. It is my first competition, and I had a lot of problems this spring, and I didn't have strong jumps in training, so I was kind of finding myself the whole competition. So I'm happy that I jumped 197, and that I had a few attempts on 2 meters. It's going to be good for it's a good training also as well as competition. But it's always fun to jump in Rome. It's crowd it's like home, and it's nice and warm and it's beautiful.
Do you think there's a 2 meters in you sometime soon?
I mean, I think that if I didn't waste myself at the beginning, maybe even today. But I still need a lot of trainings. As I said, I started very late, and because I had a few problems, I didn't complete my program. And I thought that it will be easier, but now I see that I need to train some more. But it's good that the World Championships it's far, so I have enough time.
And if you have enough time and you stay injury-free, surely another medal is possible.
Well, I think everybody who has PB over 2 meters, when that athlete goes to a big championships, of course, they think about the medals. So I also think if I would go to Beijing, then I would probably go to chase a medal. If not, then
Stay at home.
Yeah, I mean, I will know. You know, I will feel if it's the right moment.
Well done tonight. Great to have you back.
Sí, por favor. Sí, por favor.
In English, okay? Un moment. Martina McCrory, first of all, how are you? We saw you flat on your back there after your win. How are you feeling?
I'm good. After the 400, it's always a grueling race, so it always takes me a while to recover, but I'm great now.
You were winning, you were leading, and they were coming after you, and they were coming after you. How deep did you have to dig to hold on?
My eyes were closed, so I wasn't watching the screen, but I just wanted to finish strong, and I'm glad I did.
Could you hear them coming?
No, I was just in the zone.
How pleasing is this victory? It's a wonderful meet here in Rome, beautiful evening. Put this into context.
It's great. I was hoping to run under 49, but run 49. But 50.37?
Yep.
It was good. I'm happy with the outcome, and I strongly believe that I'll go under 50 when I need to.
It's a wonderful battle with Sanya, of course, and we've got a World Championships coming up. Where are you in terms of preparation with 3 months to go?
Preparation is going well. I just want to keep running every race, executing every race as if it were the World Championship final, and I think I'm doing a great job doing that. So.
And we've still got Christina Hurrigu to come into the mix as well. It makes it very exciting. Your thoughts on her?
It does make the 400 very exciting. The most important thing is just focus on yourself and keep perfecting your race, and you'll be fine.
Go recover. Thank you.
Thank you. What was the second place?
Just a little bit. Congratulations. Hey, that was a good run.
Oh, thank you, thank you.
Hey, Johnny.
Got all this stuff.
How you doing?
Yeah, good. How you doing?
Johnny Dutch, 2 wins, 2 races in a week. What's the secret?
Consistency and hard work and never giving up. A year ago, I almost called it quits. I told my mother, I don't think I want to do this anymore. And she told me as a boy, she always believed I had something. So I kept going just for a little bit longer. It's paying off.
Just for your mother?
Huh?
Just for your mother?
She's my hero.
How do you make sure you can keep this excellent form going for the next few months? Still 3 months to go till Beijing.
Yeah, exactly. Next is U.S. Nationals. So after this, I'll just go back home, taper off a little bit, work on specifics, technique, small things. It'll all add up at the U.S. Nationals. Peak there, and then afterwards, come back overseas for just a couple of races and tune up for World Championships, God willing that I make the team.
But when you're beating the likes of Tinsley, Bashawn Jackson, I mean, that must give you huge confidence, but of course they'll be gunning for you now.
Oh yeah, definitely. The hurdles is always surprising every year. One year someone dominates, the next year or 2 years later someone else comes. But I was always here. People thought I disappeared, but I've been here. I was just getting last for a few seasons, but I had enough of that.
You've done very well, thank you.
Thank you.
Hey, that was a good run.
Oh, thank you.
Congratulations. Mohamed Aman, congratulations, your 3rd consecutive victory in Rome. How pleased are you with that?
I'm very happy. Rome is it's my city because I win 3 times here. I'm very happy.
And what about the time? 1:43.
Wow.
Happy with that?
Yeah, I mean, I started from 1:44, 1:47 Doha. Now I'm good. Just coming next. The beginning of the season. I'm very happy.
Just under 3 months to go until the World Championships in Beijing. You'll be defending your title. Are you on track? Do you feel you're in about the right place?
Yeah, definitely. I'm now. My main goal is, and my coach also focus on Beijing to defeat my title. So this is a big start for me.
What would it mean to successfully defend your title in Beijing?
It's my dream. So I'm very happy. to be if I defeat my title.
Mr. Ganado. Sorry, I threw the mic away. Okay. No.
Sí, por favor.
In English. Okay.
Good.
Put your books down. Just 2 or 3 questions, if that's okay.
Okay, yes, of course.
Okay. Sergei Shemenkov, congratulations.
Thank you.
That was a close finish.
Yep, it was.
Describe how it finished for you.
Well, actually, I'm not. Well, of course, I'm glad I won. I'm satisfied with my victory, but the performance, it wasn't actually the perfect performance, and not even a good one, I can say. So the start was really frustration because I knocked down the second hurdle pretty much so severely. I almost stopped, and I felt like everybody was pushing far away, but I concentrated and started all over. Luckily we have 110, we can afford start it all over. So and I finished 13:23. It's not actually that bad. It's a nice performance, season best of course, but I'm feeling like I really capable of running faster, and I hope I will run faster.
So there's more to come. You won here 2 years ago, I think. So
Yes.
Rome is a very successful place for you.
So yes, so happens that the only Diamond League I had won until now was Diamond League in Rome. So now the story repeats. Actually, history repeats. I'm winning again. It's my second Diamond League I won in my life, and it's Rome again. So maybe that's just a little lucky spot for me. And of course, and that's one of the reasons why I enjoy every time coming to Rome.
What about Beijing? What's your record like in Beijing? Because you have a World Championships coming up.
Well, we'll see. Beijing is in August yet. We have yet to compete a lot previously to Beijing, and of course we have to train a lot, right? much more. We have to train much more. So we'll see how the shape will go on. We'll see the chances.
The 110 meters hurdles is becoming extremely competitive. Lots of good competitive runners out there. Martino Lagarde has posted a really good time. It's going to be very difficult to get a medal, surely, in Beijing, isn't it?
Well, I'm sure it's not a secret for anyone that winning a medal on a World Championships is never easy.
But particularly in this event.
Particularly in this event, of course, there is always somebody that wants to win everything, that wants to run faster than you. You have to resist somehow. You have to find your own way to the top. Well, I do what I can. I'm not always, as successful as Martino Lagarde, as other guys, but I'm feeling like I really can compete with them, and I'm not an easy rival for them as well. So, and again, we'll see. It's gonna be in August.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.